Welcome to the Republic of Arsenal. A kind of, as I've been saying a lot lately, another impromptu live video. So much going on. I didn't really have any plans of going live here tonight and doing an awful lot, but I just thought, look, with all the madness going on, there's so much to talk about. I have Liam here with me, and Liam, we were supposed to talk tomorrow. Yeah. I'm just diving straight into this. We were supposed to talk tomorrow, but the news is just changing. Every couple of minutes there's something new breaking, and just even before we clicked live, this is just after breaking now. So Charles Watts, who for most people would know Charles Watts he's a really, really reliable source when it comes to Arsenal news. He's just announced Arsenal are done. They're leaving the Super League. How are you feeling right now about this?
Mate, absolutely ecstatic. I mean, I think I made the point yesterday that, I was talking to the boys, I've never felt so disconnected from Arsenal in all my life. I've explained to you many times why I'm an Arsenal fan, and I've just never felt so low, like supporting Arsenal, being an Arsenal fan because of what's going on. And look, it's big. It's still bigger than this. Leaving. This is the first step. Let's carry on and let's get Kroenke out of the club now.
Yeah, 100%, and just big shout out to everybody who's joining us there in the chat. A lot of happy gunners by the looks of it. A lot of people are celebrating Arsenal are officially out. Big up to Farhan, finally. Big up to Georgina. Big up to Den, Code A-Line. Yeah, look, it's a bit of good news. It is a bit of good news. Definitely a welcome announcement, because there's been a couple of rough days to be an Arsenal fan, and that's not even including the result against Fulham, which, yeah, that was just it was a snowball effect, really, wasn't it? You went from that disappointing result against Fulham into this absolute madness. But as you said right there, I completely echo that sentiment. We can sit around right now. Let's be happy, because this is a success, not just for Arsenal fans, but for football fans, for fans of everything that's good and pure about the game. Look, it's not 110% until I think every single club has come out and made a statement. It's still, look, I guess we can say it's probably 99% that the fans have got what they wanted, when 99% of fans wanted. But let's keep this energy. Let's get Stan Kroenke out of this club. Like, it's time. Let's not stop. Let's not sit around and say, okay, we got what we wanted. We're not going ahead with the Super League. It's time to get Stan Kroenke out of this club, because we knew what Stan Kroenke was all about. The day he took over, we knew what he was all about. We knew what he wanted. We knew what his goal for Arsenal was. His goal for Arsenal is not success. He's not a soccer fan. We know NFL is his thing. We know that we were a cash cow from day one for Stan Kroenke. This just further enhances everything we already knew. It further confirmed for me, and I think everyone that supports Arsenal, where his priorities are with Arsenal, with the Premier League, with football in general. He does not care. It is time. We have to keep this energy. We need to, even if you're a fan of a rival club, I posted out on Twitter earlier, this is a chance for the fans. I don't care if you're Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, Man City, Tottenham. I don't care. This is the chance for all of us to get together. There's strength in numbers. Arsenal fans don't need to fight this alone. Sorry, Liam, you have something to jump in there with, yeah?
Arsenal have literally just tweeted 21 seconds ago. As a result of listening to you and the wider football community over recent days, we are withdrawing from the proposed Super League. We made a mistake and we apologise for it. And there's an open letter to the fans on the website as we speak.
You know what? You made a mistake. That's fine. Apology accepted. But Stan Kroenke, fuck off. I don't care. It's time to go. You've made plenty of mistakes. This is just another mistake. We all make mistakes, but how many mistakes is that guy going to make? We knew regardless. We knew regardless where his priorities are. His priority is not Arsenal. So as I said, look, keep this energy going. And I hope that this is an eye-opener for the fans of the other clubs as well. Because as I said, you know where your owner's priorities lie. And if you didn't know, now you know. We knew where our owners' priorities were. We knew they weren't Arsenal. So, look at the other clubs now. So hopefully this could be an eye-opener for them as well. Any more news filtering through there? There's a couple of pauses and I'm just waiting for you to make...
It's just it's now breaking news that apparently all 6 are now withdrawing from the Super League. It's all been confirmed. All 6 have gone. This is from Fabrizio Romano, Sky Sports News, Charles. This is all of them. Sky Sports News. They're all tweeting now that that's it. All 6 have gone. But as I said, and we keep saying this is bigger than this. And I made a comment earlier when I went live with obviously our channel on Anything Arsenal. That the one thing I can't stand is hypocrisy, and it comes from a lot of people. UEFA and FIFA, for instance, they're trying to act like everyone's friend, and they look, we've got your best interests at heart. No, you haven't. Because if you look at the new proposals for the Champions League, there's a bit in it that still don't sit right. I don't mind changing the concept. And so I don't know if you remember that back in the sort of late 90s and early noughties, there was actually 2 group stages before the knockout stage. And then it went to 1 group stage. So it's fine, it changes and you revamp it. That's not a problem. And now it's a group stage and you play 10 games. Not an issue. The bit that gets to me is, though, if you fail to qualify through your league, there are spots open for elite clubs. Well, I'm sorry, but you're basically doing the exact same thing as this ridiculous European Super League was trying to do. You're allowing it to stay open for the elite because you're too big. You can't miss out. So what are you telling the likes of West Ham that are trying to break the top 4? Or Juventus that are nearly missing out on 4th place? They're currently sitting in 5th place in Italy. What are you telling these? Doesn't matter, guys. Finish 5th, 6th and 7th. We'll still get you in one way or another. You're part of the problem. FIFA, your next World Cup is in what? Qatar? Where it's, I believe, it's still illegal to be gay in this country. So, and people are still dying building these stadiums. So let's not try and take the moral high ground because you are still part of this problem. And Sky, sorry, but during a pandemic, you were charging £15 to watch games like West Brom versus Fulham. Now, no disrespect to these clubs, but no average fan will watch the game, no problem. We're football fans. But I'm not going to pay £15 on top of the subscription you want me to pay month on month to pay 15 quid for West Brom Fulham, and then a week later, 15 quid to watch Sheffield United versus Brighton. It's not going to happen. You are also part of the problem. And the biggest hypocrites for me at the moment are Chelsea fans. They have been loving Roman Abramovich since the day he took over, loving him splashing his cash, loving the fact they have bought their way to success, bought the league titles, bought the Champions League, and they've been okay with it. They've stayed quiet. They've said nothing. All of a sudden, the other elite clubs join them on a level. Oh, hang on a minute. Now it's a problem. Now football needs to come together. Well, hang on a minute. You was okay being the bully boys for 10 years. Then Man City turned up. Oh, it's not really fair. Oh, you don't say, mate. You've been doing it for the last 10 years, buddies. So don't get on your fucking high horse now and go, oh, look, we were the first club to go. Yo, you were the first club to sell yourselves out for a bit of money. Let's not forget that. You're the reason why we're in this position right now, because you allowed it to happen. The owner came over, splashed the cash, and it showed other people, go, well, if they can do it, then we can do it. And then it started infiltrating your JW Henrys, your Glaziers, your Crop. So the hypocrisy from Chelsea fans. I'm like, are you joking? You've been okay with this for years. Yeah. Fair enough. There are some Chelsea fans, of course, that I'm not trying to tarnish them all the same brush. But majority of them have been okay winning league titles on the back of this money. So you can't pick and choose when it's okay to suit you and it's not. And that was my biggest gripe today with them in particular, when they tried to go, oh, look at us being a classy club. No, hang on a minute. Let's go back in your lane. And also, Man United as well. Like Gary Neville made some great points on Sky last night. Of course he did. Listen, the man, he talks like a true football man, and he gets it. He understands it. the bit that I can't grasp is he does realise that he was part of a team that refused to enter the FA Cup in 2000 because they wanted to enter the World Club Championship. Now, this is the world's oldest cup competition, and you are happy to not enter this. So again, Gary Neville, I understand what you're saying, but also remember that what your club stood for when you played for them in the early 2000s. So there are clubs that have, again, try take the more high ground now. I think it's okay when it suited you in the past. And I just think that some clubs need to sort of remember what they've done very recently as well.
Definitely, yeah. And look, like what you were saying there with the FA Cup, Liverpool did the same. They prioritised the Club World Cup. Remember, they put out a youth team against Aston Villa and got absolutely played off the park. And as you said, look, there's for me, growing up, I guess I'm an older generation of Arsenal fan, and I don't think, not Arsenal fans, but I think just younger fans maybe don't quite appreciate how prestigious for me growing up the FA Cup was and still is. I still hold the FA Cup in extremely high regard, as I think everybody should. I don't think the younger generation quite understand that because of, you know, the way it's been treated by clubs nowadays. Like even Arsenal this season, you know, against Newcastle, we didn't put out the strongest side, and you know, it's become that now. You know, it's almost become a version of the Carabao Cup, which is an awful shame because, as you said, it's the world's oldest cup competition, and for me, it's still a prestigious title. I know, look, the grand scheme of things, it's not enough to only win it. I look at it as it's the icing on the cake. You know, after a good league season, it's the icing on the cake to take the FA Cup. But it's a great competition that is starting to be devalued by the club. So yeah, clubs need to sit back and look at themselves. As you said there, Chelsea fans, like, where do you think this all stemmed from? You know, the Abramovich money came in, and that's the tone then for other clubs to say, right, well, how are we going to compete with this? So that's how we ended up with our Man City now. And now we've our Man City and our Chelsea, and there's other clubs going, right now, how do we compete with this? You know, billionaire owners are the way. And this is how Arsenal ended up with the devil that is Stan Kroenke. We thought, well, we need to compete now. Here's a billionaire who wants to buy us. He's going to help. Now, we managed to find the only billionaire who hasn't got a penny. You know, it's absolute fucking madness. But yeah, look, we need to, as I said earlier, we need to keep this going. Like we can't just sit here and think, right, this is done. You know, we've won now. We got what we wanted. Like, we need something more now. Now is the time for change. You know, now the momentum is building. There's been a slight power shift here tonight. You know, a slight power shift away from, you know, the money men and the owners and that. They didn't get what they want, and they're so used to getting what they want every single time because money always talks. It didn't today, and finally, you know, it was a win for, you know, the working class, the football fan, you know, the people who are the essence of the game. It's a victory for us, you know, for all of us involved. But yeah, as an Arsenal fan, from a personal point of view, from an Arsenal fan, Kroenke has to be next, and I'm going to keep harping on about it. Because, and I mean, I'm passionate about this. Kroenke has to be next, and we cannot let up now. You know, we need to keep this going. He suffered a massive blow here tonight because obviously what he wanted was Arsenal in this Super League, and there's rumour going around that he was looking to get us in there so that we are at our most valuable and he can make a sale. Well, like, I'm sorry, you were offered what, 2 billion by Dangote. You know, is that not enough for you? I mean, you're already worth billions. Like, you don't care. Look, take the money and just fuck off. You know what I mean? Give it to someone who's a fan, who has a bit of passion, wants to see this club succeed. It's time. We need to get this guy out. We can't do this any longer. We sat around in mediocrity for too many years under this guy's ownership. So yeah, look, I'm urging the fans. You know, you might think, like, who are we sitting here, you know, on a little YouTube channel? You think you don't have a voice, but as I said, there's strength in numbers. You know, everyone gets together, suddenly one voice becomes thousands of voices, and then you start being heard. So we have to, we've got to keep the pressure up, I wish I could be over. Unfortunately, I'm here in Ireland, and as soon as I can get on a plane, I'll come over and I'll wave a few banners about, no problem. But yeah, look, little things like that, anyone that's I commend the people that are out there and they are protesting and hanging banners and stuff like that, and like I say, keep up that energy, and maybe someday the end goal, we might get what we want and get this guy out of the club. But yeah, Liam, it's look, as I guess, as negative as this probably all sounds, this is coming from a place of positivity here tonight, definitely. So I'm actually quite upbeat now. This is, I think for me, I'm sure you're feeling the same. This is it's kind of a weight off the shoulders kind of a feeling.
Yeah, because as I said yesterday, I just can't believe how disconnected I generally felt from my club, and I thought that it was almost like almost like laying to rest the club that I've invested so much of my time in. Well, my life obviously is given, as I said to you the other day, I'm only here in existence because of this football club. So for me, it was much more than just, the badge you wear, the shirt you wear, the clothes you buy and all that. It's so much more than that. It's more than just football in general as well. Like, I think I worked out, obviously I don't know the exact number, of course, but I worked out that I've roughly been to over 1,100 games in my life, up and down the country. The Champions League final in 2005, I was there when we lost to Barcelona. And for me, I will always say that it was the greatest memory I've ever had being an Arsenal fan, but also the worst memory because we lost the Champions League final, but I was at the final. So it's sort of a bittersweet, really. It was lovely to be there, but, horrible ending to it. And, weekends away, in hotels and, piss ups all up to Preston and Manchester on the coach, having a few beers. The best one ever was, I think, when I went Swansea away with three of my mates. I think my first beer I cracked open at like 5 a.m, and I think I got back at midnight or something. But it was all about, it's not just the football, it's the camaraderie with it. One of the FA Cup finals when Ramsey scored against Chelsea. Now, I was sitting with two of my pals, and when Ramsey scored, I don't know what happened, but I ended up on the floor, and like me and like 5 geezers are hugging. Now, 2 of the geezers I've never spoken to before in my life. I've never met them before. But yeah, I'm hugging them and basically kissing them on the forehead. I've never met the geezer in my life, but it just gives you something that you've just never felt before. And as I said, even with what's going on with the ongoing pandemic, and even prior to that, some people unfortunately have crap jobs they don't like. They have shit home lives, unfortunately, with whatever's going on. And people use it as a release. They use it as a getaway, a clause to get away and feel normal for half a day or whatever it is. And these people are going to take that away from the working class people as if Arsenal Football Club and these clubs are just their toys, their puppets. When to us, this isn't a toy or a puppet. This is literally our life.
Yeah. It's not a game. It's not a game to us. I know to them, it's, as I said, in the case of Stan Kroenke, we are, like you said, we're a toy. We're something that he's using us just to make money to fund his actual passion, which is in the NFL. But yeah, I don't. He must realise, maybe he doesn't, but if he doesn't, he obviously just doesn't care enough to do the homework and realise how passionate people are, and as you said, how people are affected. And like, that's why I wanted to have you on, especially because, as you said, like, you've a really cool background story. The fact that literally Arsenal is in your blood, as you said, the reason you are here today is because of your parents meeting through Arsenal, and that, so Arsenal literally gave life to you, as it gives life to people in many different senses. Literally, in your case, it gave life to you. So like, it's an amazing story. And me, look, I'm on the outside, obviously, born and bred in Ireland, still here in Ireland. definitely don't get over as much as I would like to. I definitely will now once all this is out of the way, because I've made so many connections now with this like YouTube channel and so many friends and that. So I'm absolutely buzzing. Not even for when I can see a match. That's just a bonus. But to get over and meet some of the great people, you know, that I've met through this channel, and the football will be a bonus as well on top. But yeah, like these guys don't realize the passion and how football, as crazy as it sounds, how football becomes such a big part of your life. You know, your day to day. Like right now, we're living it, especially in the middle of this pandemic. Arsenal, as much as they make me crack up, Arsenal has kept me sane during this pandemic, during the lockdown. You know, Arsenal, watching the football, you know, being at home, these are hard times for people. You know, it's not easy being locked up in the house the whole time. This is, you know, they're getting a bit deep, like touching on like mental health and stuff like that now. But to be honest, as much as Arsenal is damaging for our mental health, at the same time, as I said, it's what has kept me going, and being able to do the likes of this, you know, meet people like yourself and some of the people that are in the chat there. It's kept me sane. So it's more than just football, you know. And I know, like, people sit around, I know everyone's missus is probably saying, what are you getting so worked up about? It's only a game, you know. But when you really sit back and, you know, you look at it from these perspectives, it's so much more, you know. It's especially within the fan base, and it's a shame because our fan base at times is so divided. It's divided, but we're all coming from a different place, different opinions, and it creates a division. But I think we all have the same sort of, we all want the same, you know. We've all got the same passion. We can't always agree, and that's why there's so many divides and clashes. But as I said, look, I've met some like amazing people, amazing Arsenal fans out there, and like that. It's like I said, it's so much more than just a game. Look, it's a community in that, you know, as well. So, but yeah, look, what I'm gonna do is, if there's anybody interested there, you know, there's a couple of people in the chat, and I see we've a couple of the lads, a few content creators out there. If anyone is interested in coming on and joining us here, even if you want to give us, you know, 5 minutes, I'll throw a link up. You can come on. Just let us know. Let us know how you're feeling right now with the fallout of the Super League. How you're feeling towards Stan Kroenke, the ownership, whatever you're feeling right now. Preferably Arsenal related. Whatever you're feeling, come on and let us know. So what I'll do is I'll add a link into the chat there. So yeah, please do join us, because yeah, like there's I think a lot of emotion running here tonight, Liam. So it'd be good. It'd be good to hear from people.
Massively, we need to. And like, do you know what? I'd want to go back on what you said there and maybe explain to people what you've said about, you know, my mum and dad. You know, my dad, just like you, was born and raised in Ireland. You know, that's where he's originally from. You know, he's from Waterford. And at the age of, you know, 18, 19, he was coming over sort of once a month to watch Arsenal. Yeah. And he was obviously working, and then he managed to sort of find work in London, and he thought, well, with his passion for Arsenal and, you know, no disrespect, but the better job opportunities over here than it was there at the time, he made the trip over here, and I think he moved here when he was 22, and that was it. He then sort of went Arsenal every single week. Him and my mum met in the Arsenal Supporters Club in 1987. I believe we played Norwich at home. I think we won 4-0 or something, or 2-0, something like that. They met in the Supporters Club. And then from that moment, every single week, there's a coach that leads the supporters club that goes to away games. And they used to get on that coach together, obviously with many, many other people. And my mum and dad obviously just got talking one day, the Norwich game in particular, struck up a bit of a friendship, you know, obviously led from there. In 1989, I've always said that, you know, when we won the league at Anfield, my mum and dad were both at the game together. And my mum was actually 6 months pregnant with me at the time, but still managed to go to the game at Anfield. So in my eyes, I was still there. Even though I might not have seen the game, I was still there at the Anfield game.
Technically, you were there.
100%. I'm taking that, all right? I'm running with it. But that's what I mean when you say that. Look, like, literally, Arsenal has given me existence. Like, I can't say more than that. My mum and dad met in the Arsenal Supporters Club. For me, that's how much this club means to me, and that's it, really.
Yeah, as I said, it's literally in your blood, and we've got someone here with us. We got Dan from the Sideline Talk podcast. Dan, how you doing?
Yeah, good mate. I'm just going to jump on briefly because
Yeah,
it's
of course.
such a topic. Bit of relief as well. Obviously, we were going over it yesterday for quite some time. But yeah, I think once we saw like the sort of clubs start to go on about it, I think that was when we all really got a little bit more excited. Because I don't know about you boys, but within like I think all day I've refreshed my Twitter more than I've ever done in my life, and I was just thinking, how much of this can you actually believe? Like
Yeah,
there was talks of City and Chelsea, and then all of a sudden, all 12 clubs were leaving. So I thought, no, this is too good to be true, you know. But I'll be interested to see what happens in the next 24 hours. Now it's official. I
yeah,
think there's obviously rumours that UEFA paid the clubs to leave. I don't really see how that's going to benefit them because it could just happen again. I'm not saying it will, but there needs to be some sort. I know Gary Neville mentioned earlier that these clubs should be fined for even trying to do it. I sort of echo that in my opinion because you need to sort of show some fight. And yeah, it's a relief that they've stayed around. But what happens if look at all these resignations you're seeing now? This is just the beginning. What happens if someone else comes in next year and he's a money grabber and he just thinks, oh, I want to do this, and someone
yeah,
tries to change the game? I know, that Liam was just touching on it, saying that how it happened in 2000 with Man United, we can see it easily happen again.
yeah,
Liverpool played in the Club World Cup the other year. Someone might just say, oh, I want to play in the Club World Cup, but I don't want to play in the League Cup. So I'm just going to, I'm not going to do it. I think they need to start showing some grit in these organisations. Otherwise, they won't be taken seriously. And the way I see it, if they've paid them to leave the Super League, how much of what they were saying 2 days ago when they were going to, kick players out of national and stuff, how much of it
yeah,
did they mean? It's all over now. It's all good and gravy, but makes the last 72 hours a bit of a myth, really, because if it turns out they weren't going to do all that, it could have all gone ahead in the first place. The only thing that would have happened, it would have just suffered the players because they'd have been knackered playing all this football.
yeah. It would have been far too much. Like we spoke about that yesterday. Then it just would have been far too much on the players. Like the season is long enough as it is. Like you see, this is why clubs are rotating in the likes of the Carabao and even now as far as the FA Cup, they're rotating their squads, and especially if you've got European football, sure, they're rotating in the Europa League, they're using the group stages of the Europa League. So to add this kind of a competition as well, as I was saying, they was just going to water down the Premier League where they allowed stay, because you're going to get to a stage where, like that, you're playing Barcelona in the new camp on a Wednesday night, and you're playing Fulham, at the Emirates on a Sunday. The under 23s are going to be getting a run out on a Sunday, and it completely devalues the product of the Premier League, and the Premier League weren't going to stand for that. That wasn't going to happen, because they're not going to take a back seat and say, we want you paying your subscription, whatever. Some people are paying 150 quid a month for this Premier League subscription to watch, two under 23s, like say Arsenal playing Man City in Super Sunday, and they're both sticking out the under 23 teams because, one is playing Real Madrid next week and one's playing Barcelona. It's not going to work.
And it's like we said about the transfer window as well. Like this summer, realistically, we were going to supposedly get rid of our deadwood and bring new ones in. So we wouldn't even have that much depth. I mean, you can only sell so many players. Like you were talking about Football Manager yesterday, it's not going to be a Football Manager situation. We've got to be realistic here. We'll probably sell 2-3 of the 6 players we need to and bring 2 in. So we wouldn't be in any sort of position to play any extra football. But I'm sort of I think it's like everyone's been saying, you're gonna have to forgive eventually, but this is never going to be forgotten. Not just from Kroenke's point of view, the players. We only saw Hector Bellerin speak out about it. You've just seen Liverpool, near enough their entire squad has just come out, and I think that just shows you the sort of difference between them and us. And I'm not digging at the players at all, but I was just embarrassed today to see absolutely everyone come out and speak. And then Hector Bellerin, we know he's going potentially this summer. He's probably going to be one of those players leaving. So maybe that had something to do with the reason why he spoke out. But we all know what he is as a person as well. He's got a great personality. It was just a bit of a shame. We saw what happened with Aubameyang. He seemed to kick off at the fans because they didn't let him have a speak of something else. He's our captain, for God's sake. Of course, people are going to expect him to come out and lead, especially at a time when if you're going to be on them social medias, you're probably going to be expected to sort of say something on behalf of the team at least, even if you just say, I can't give a comment, or we cannot speak any further of this at the moment. We all feel how you feel, or we know what you're going through. Something along those lines. So I've got no real sympathy there. I know he's got malaria and I hope he gets better soon, but I was not surprised that if you do, I think it was something to do with gaming or something. It was only up briefly. I think he tweeted something that was near enough nothing to do with the topic.
Yeah.
I'm not being funny. He's earning 280 grand a week. He's the captain.
Exactly. Well, look, this kind of sums up his kind of leadership that we've spoken about all season. But I suppose just kind of going off of that, I think it's important, as you said. Look, people will get over it, and we will learn to forgive. But I think it's important that people, they sit back and they do realize this is not Mikel Arteta. This is not the players. And this goes for all clubs. This wasn't Thomas Tuchel's decision. This wasn't Pep Guardiola's decision. So this is the owners, And again, this is bringing it back to like an Arsenal perspective. This is what we've been saying all along. The owner at this club is the problem and has been the major problem. There's a lot of issues at the club. A lot of things need fixing, but the issue has always been the owner. And again, I think it's just important that people do. Like they're getting frustrated at Aubameyang and that, but yeah, look, Aubameyang's not the problem. Aubameyang was nothing to do.
The owner is. I'd be interested to see how long it takes for him to leave, because we've seen Woodward did it today at United. So the way I see it, that's just a small piece of what's about to happen, because I don't see how you can sit and do your job every day knowing you've just been completely outdone by fans. Your fans are calling you out. I know a lot of fans have been on Kroenke's back for a long time. I'm not particularly one of them. I usually just look at the football in the field and players on the field, and as long as we've got good enough players there, majority of the time I say it's within the leadership, is within that dressing room. But for me, the decision he's made in the last 72 hours was just far too. I think it's just too embarrassing, and it's a nail in the coffin. Yeah, I've had problems with him, but at the end of the day, we were getting players we wanted to know. We touched on this before. We spent money on Pepe, etc. We bought Partey, so I was sort of getting a little bit happier. But now it's sort of just twisted my head again, where I'm just ready to roar like most fans. I know they're obviously doing these protests, but I wouldn't be surprised come Thursday afternoon if something has gone on, because it just can't. He can't. It's just too embarrassing. No matter who you are, even if it's Kroenke or anyone in La Liga, I don't see how you can be that sort of person.
Do you know what I worry about a little bit now? Our owners, they tend not to need too much of an excuse not to be spending money. And I think the pandemic and COVID and all that was the perfect excuse not to be spending a couple of quid. I fear a little bit now that if he decides not to sell up, which it's very likely, it is very, very likely he still won't. If he does decide to stay, does this just give him another opportunity to turn around and say, well, look, I was trying to get you a couple of quid to spend and you didn't want it. Do you think this is a chance for Kroenke to reverse it on the fans and sort of say, I was getting you a guaranteed 300 million and you said no?
How much of that would we have seen? I don't even think we'd have barely seen any of it. It would have gone towards the players because they're playing like different kettle of football. They've obviously got to pay for more travel. No, I don't believe we'd have seen most of that. Maybe sign one or two good players, but I don't even know who'd have wanted to come to the club.
Yeah, that's the thing. That is the thing. What about you, Liam? What are you thinking? Do you think this is giving him a bit more?
100%. He can hide behind that, can't he? Like you said, we're not one for spending money anyway. Their excuse was obviously because they were out of pocket due to the pandemic, and obviously he makes a mockery of everything because you might be out of pocket in the fact of you're not making as much, but you're not skint. You're not needing the money. You're still a billionaire, mate, and you had the cheek to lay off 55 staff members while then agreeing this massive multi-million-pound deal. Like, the geezer's an absolute joke, and he's what I class as a cancer to the game. He has nothing to do with football in him. He doesn't care about football. He never will. You know, the fact that they were trying to do this ridiculous idea of effectively a non-competitive league. And I don't know if you saw David Seaman when he spoke on Sky Sports News about it. He hit the nail on the head. If you lose your first 4 games in the Premier League, right, you're then sort of fighting relegation. So there's something to fight for and build on. If you lose your first 4 games in the Super League and you can't win it, then you've got nothing to play for. So then you're just playing a glorified friendly every other week against Barca, Madrid, United. What an absolute waste of time. But Kroenke, we know he doesn't want to spend the money anyway. We've been saying for ages that it's a big summer for Mikel Arteta because of the season that we've happened and a lot of obviously, you know, different situations. And we've always worried, will he give him the money? Will he give him the money? And then he's saying that he needs this because he's not. So cool. It's something to hide behind that makes him go, as you say, well, I was trying to get you the money. Like, I'm sorry. But I just think that if the fans and the clubs and the football community can have this much power to disband these 12 billionaires basically getting together, and we really have basically split up this unique circle of money, why can't we hound this man out of our club? You know, I think that we can, but like you say, the same energy, like you say, every single day now. I can only personally look at Charlton as an example, for instance. You know, local club to me. I know many friends that are Charlton fans, and they've gone through many owners, and some that have ended up having no money. And again, this falls on the FA, by the way, not doing their due diligence properly of the right owner, like the Birmingham owner manager recently went to prison. Like, what are the FA actually doing? Are they doing real checks, or are they just seeing this bank statement that has all these, you know, zeros at the end going, oh yeah, we'll have some of you in England. But how are you getting the money? And I said, you know, earlier on stream that my job is to do with foreign currency. Now, if someone wants to buy a house abroad and they're buying it for 200,000, I then have to ask that client, where's your source of funds? Now, they have to show me whether it's inheritance, whether it's from selling a property, whatever. They have to show me where them funds have come from. I don't think that's happening with the FA. They're seeing all these lovely zeros going, oh, yeah, and that's all they care about. Dollar signs ringing in their eyes, not actually going, well, hang on a minute. How have you come to acquire this money? Where does it come from? Is it legit? What? And they don't care enough. And that's why teams like Charlton have nearly gone. Bolton have nearly gone. Bury have gone. You know, we were shitting ourselves about us not going, but playing this competition that we had no care about in the world. And yet there's actual fans out there that have actually lost their club. I can only try to imagine what they're going through as fans.
Well, that's it. Look, that really puts into perspective. We're here sitting around worried about how much money we're going to have to spend in the summer, how many million we're going to get for, you know, a new right back, for example. And like that, you've other clubs who were looking at the likes of this new model and kind of going, well, how is that money going to trickle down to us to keep us in existence? You know, and that's the difference. Just give it a shout out. There's a couple of new people in the chats there, so a big shout out. Thanks for joining. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And as I said, look, the line is open. If anybody would like to join in, like even come on, 2-3 minutes, whatever, come in. Be interested to hear what
and
you
I'm gonna probably hit the hay, but yeah, on terms of what Liam just said, I have to completely agree. The world's just become a bit of a commodity in football. It's really sad to see, but this has shown it in the last 72 hours that it is just a commodity, and I feel sorry for the players out there. People like Jordan Henderson today, and I mean players like Declan Rice and Jack Grealish, who we spoke of the other day, because it would have affected them massively. You know, they're friends to these people, and even though they're not involved, it's kind of like, okay, you're at Aston Villa, you're at West Ham, but at some point you want to go to these clubs. They might not have ever had the opportunity, because if it would have all fell apart, it's a different kettle of fish, isn't it? When what could have happened if that would have happened, if it did.
Yeah.
It's not such a paradise life, really, because like you said, if you're playing Barcelona every week, it's not really something that gets so exciting. We haven't played like Bayern Munich in years. I mean, yeah, we used to get embarrassed by them, but even if we were winning them, if we were playing them every week, it wouldn't really be any satisfied to me whatsoever.
Yeah,
But
well,
I'd like to
look,
put,
it does. Sorry for interrupting you, then, but look, it kills the excitement of this European competition. This is kind of what we look forward to, isn't it? You look forward to, um, you look forward to these fixtures. I think, was it Ian Wright? I think I was listening to yesterday. He said, you know what? He played AC Milan twice in his career, and he was absolutely buzzing for it. Now, if you're playing them 4 times a season, suddenly it's not that special a fixture anymore, because like players look forward to this. Like, you imagine that West Ham team now, what they're fighting for in the Premier League this season. They are fighting for the right to be in a competition next season to play against the best teams in the world, the Real Madrids, the Barcelonas, AC Milan, Juventus, whoever. And then you're suddenly going to say, oh no, it's actually, you know what, don't worry about it. Sure, look, we're all going to jump into this competition. Should we play each other 4 times a year anyway? And then for next season, we do it again and we do it again. They were looking at signing a deal for 23 years for this league,
Yeah.
And as I said, it felt to me, this was the type of thing I used to do back in the day when I used to play Football Manager religiously. You get on the editor and you would create a European league, and you would be putting all the best teams. You would take your Real Madrid, your Barcelona, your Arsenal, whoever, you throw them all in this league, and you play for a bit of fun. So that's what I mean. To me, it felt like this is like a real life Football Manager going on
MLS,
here.
isn't it? Like in MLS,
Yeah.
That's what they do. You pay to be in a league. It sounds disgusting to me, but yeah, I better go because I have a feeling people are going to jump in. But cheers for letting me come on, mate. I just wanted to give my little bit.
Yeah, no worries. Do you want to give yourself a shout out there? Then let people know about the podcast.
Yeah. So Sideline Talk Pod. We're on all the podcast channels and YouTube channel. I've been on and quite a few, and we'll probably be collabing quite a bit. We collabed yesterday on my own, but yeah, always a pleasure to be on.
Yeah, look, great to have you as always, Dan. Really appreciate you coming on.
Nice to meet you, Liam, by the way.
Take care, mate. All the best.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers, Dan. Yes, that was Dan. A big shout out, Dan, Sideline Talk Podcast. And as I said, look, the lines are open if anybody wants to join in. I think we've Gav Mack joining in a couple of minutes. He just messaged me there. So if anybody would like to jump in, 2-3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, let us know how you're feeling, because it's Liam, it's one of them, isn't it? A lot of emotion, especially with the build up to this over the last couple of days. It's from one extreme to the other.
I mean, honestly, I've never, as football goes, I mean, this literally has been the craziest 48 hours I've ever known. It's just, I don't understand. Did they really think that we were just going to go, yeah, okay, yeah, we'll just accept it. We'll just really, like, I made a joke earlier on our page, and I wasn't actually joking in a way that, like the government have shut our pubs because of COVID, and we don't like it, but we accept why it's happening. But you take our football away from us, and you see a complete different animal coming out. Like, take our pubs, take whatever, don't take our football away. Like, that's one thing that you just can't do. It means, as you said, too much to so many, for many different reasons. It isn't a toy for us. This is real life, and I'd hope as well, though, on the back of this, that the FA take a good look at themselves and take the chance to maybe revamp how we operate. And, this could be a blessing in disguise, because it's made us realise that there is clearly so much wrong with football. We've stopped this from happening, so we carry on with at least what we know. But actually, it could be a voice for us to go, well, hang on a minute, more need to change. I.e., like I said about, deeper checks need to be done to who these owners are coming in. Going back to FA Cup as well, I remember one year that the FA Cup final was on at like 5:30 or something, and we were playing Norwich at 3:00 on a Saturday. We shouldn't be playing a Premier League game the same day as the FA Cup final. The FA Cup final should be its own day. The whole build-up about that one game. Bring back the history and the tradition and the class, the 3 words apparently Arsenal stand for. But also, then 3 things also contribute to the FA Cup. Bring back what the FA Cup means to the people of England and how much this means to us as a country, and make us proud that we've got the world's oldest cup competition and let people know what it really is about.
I've just come in just at the
100%.
right time for that.
Yeah, Gav,
I
you joined
love
at the
you.
right time here. What's up, Gav?
How are you,
Looking
gents?
good here, Gav, with the
Man.
shades and the hat.
Yeah.
Loving it.
What it is, it's just like, you know, it's been an emotional 48 hours, isn't it? Let's be real. But on the FA Cup, man, I remember like waking up at 8:30, having my breakfast. The program starts at 9 o'clock in the morning, man. 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's all every show is like literally gravitating around the FA Cup, and then you're watching the buses go down, like the coaches go down Wembley Way, and you're interviewing the fans. And I'm even talking about it, raising the hairs on the back of my neck. I actually tried to start a petition to get it back, and it got thrown out because it didn't mean anything. I was like, freaking means everything to me. It means everything to me. The
So
FA
we were
Cup,
only talking about that earlier.
it doesn't matter who's in it.
The FA Cup, yeah.
I watched every FA Cup final since 1993.
Do you reckon though, Gav, like myself and Liam were saying, slightly older generation, I think we take it, we add a bit more value to it because that was our cup growing up. You know what I mean? That's what you used to get excited about it. I don't think the younger generation have that same appreciation because everything is like that. It's money now, and it's Champions League, and it's the thoughts of a Super League where you're almost turning your back now on these cup competitions.
Yeah, but it's not the younger guys' fault that it's been taken away from us. You know, because I was a young kid then, you know, and my parents were young kids prior to that, and so on and so forth. It goes by generation, as Liam said. Like, you know, it's the oldest cup competition in the world. In the world, you know, that should be glorified. Don't be moving it to R5 and, you know, having an idea of moving it to a Wednesday and things like that. You know,
it's a special occasion,
and the semi-final shouldn't be at Wembley either.
I was just about to bring that up.
Take that back. Take the semi-finals back to Villa Park and Old Trafford, and if those teams are competing in it as well, move it somewhere else. Move it somewhere centrally, so then fans can have an opportunity to go there as well.
Well, I worked out the other week, right? And funny enough, this is mad because of the FA Cup semi-final, because of where it was. I worked out the other day that I've been to Old Trafford 8 times, but only once for Arsenal, Man United. The other 7 have been semi-finals.
Yeah.
And you think I went to, and I think went with the year we went unbeaten. I went to Villa Park when we played United in that one, and I loved it. I love the idea of this because, like you say, you knew what the FA Cup meant, so you knew that you were going to Villa Park or Old Trafford for a semi-final, and then oh my God, now we're in the final. Now, as the teacher said yesterday at Leeds, you have to earn it.
Earn it.
That includes the final. You earn your right. And where it got the grade as well, allowing us to play Champions League games at Wembley. Tottenham playing there for 2 years. So then every club's then played Wembley. No. Earn the right. You don't get the God-given right, because we're playing Tottenham in the league, we now get to play there because they're... No. You have to earn it. It's our national state. It's our absolute treasure.
Yeah.
Please take more care of it. It's Wembley Stadium. You have to be picked for England to play there. You have to get to cup finals to play. They're not, oh, we're just West Brom playing against Tottenham in the league. What?
Yeah. Well, that's they've taken the kind of like it used to be sacred, you know. Like this was the home of football, and even me being Irish, I grew up with that appreciation of, you know, Wembley was the home of football, and this was the end goal was to get to Wembley. You know, even I grew up with that. But I guess it's slightly taking it back to kind of what's going on, the fallout of everything. Gav, I want to get your feeling, like how are you feeling now with it looks like this has gone bust, the Super League, and how are you feeling now with Stan Kroenke and everything else going on?
Well, any Arsenal fan that backs Stan Kroenke, as far as I'm concerned, isn't an Arsenal fan. Straight up as that. It's like, I look at, like, I've just been on the Football Dugout channel talking about all of this. I was on there yesterday as well. I think I've been on there more recently than I've been on my own channels. Ridiculous. And then I was on yours. Was it Friday? Thing is, on Friday, we didn't even know. We had no idea. And it was just before I started my show on 2 at Top. Literally about half hour before we started. It was like, what's this European Super League about? Oh, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, this is all happening. Football's tainted now, as far as I'm concerned.
Mhm.
and it's going to take a long time for it to go back to some form of normality. You know,
Hey, do
but I
you know
feel
what,
sorry
Gab?
for 'em.
Actually, do you know what, Gab? I actually thought of you the other day when all this broke and all this, you know, the breakaway of the Premier League and the clubs moving away, and I thought back to the first time I spoke to you, and you'd said to me, from next season, I'm taking a step back from the Premier League. I'm still going to follow Arsenal and check up on Arsenal, but Bundesliga was what you were going to be focusing
Yeah, I've
more so
championed
on.
the Bundesliga anyway.
And
I can't say anything bad about the Bundesliga at
but you
all.
know what? I said to myself, you know what? Maybe you're right, because if you look at the Bundesliga model, the way the clubs are run, I think it's 50.1% of the club has to be owned by the fans or thereabouts,
Yeah.
and this is the way it should be. You know, this is why, you know, Bayern Munich and Dortmund and that weren't able to get involved with this. You know, as much as maybe they would have liked to, I don't know. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't, but the fans weren't going to allow it, and that's how it should be. You know, at least the Bundesliga has that. You know, the fans have some say. The
Yeah.
fans mean something in the Bundesliga. Even you could see with ticket prices. If you remember, the Bayern Munich fans came over and staged a protest at the Emirates about the tickets for Bayern Munich. Now, I think that was when they beat us. Was it 8-2 on aggregate?
Yeah.
And they were complaining about the
It's
price of
10-2,
tickets,
wasn't
and we were like, "We're paying more, and you just spanked us 8-2. We have to watch this shit."
Yeah.
We're paying double what you're paying, and you're giving out about it.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, like, I lived in Germany for a bit, and even before and after I've lived in Germany, I've gone out there to go watch games because I love Bundesliga football, and the fact that I could go when I lived in Berlin, I'll go watch Union Berlin when they're in the Zweite Bundesliga second division, and pay €10 for my ticket, and then go watch Hertha Berlin, and pay €15 for a ticket, and pay €4 for a Stein, and you know, a
That's the
euro or
most
two,
important part. That's the most important.
a euro or two for a pretzel, and then when I leave, you know, I'll go buy some kebab, buy a kebab, and that costs €3.5. I'm having a wonderful time going to a like major club, and I'm paying €4 beer in there. It's like it's next to nothing if you think about it on the grand scheme of it. So look after their people. Don't get me wrong. When you're working out there, they do take like 40% tax, but they sort of like it's almost like they pay you back by making sure that things are of a decent price. You know, over here, like I'm an Arsenal fan that lives in Northampton, right? So a train for me to get to London and back would turn 30 odd quid. You know, then I'm paying 40 quid for my Arsenal ticket. Then I'm paying £6 a pint and £8 for a burger. But in Northampton, to be fair, this where like it's not just an Arsenal thing. It's certain clubs have got the whole thing wrong, because I wouldn't be like, I'm just going to go watch Cobblers this week. 25 quid to go watch Cobblers. £25, and they're languishing at the bottom of League One, and they were charging that sort of price in League Two when they were almost getting kicked out of the Football League.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's ridiculous. You can't. It's not sustainable. I mean, like I'm sort like this whole Super League thing. Yeah, I said that from a business point of view, it's a fantastic idea, and anyone who thinks any business owner or anyone who has owned a business or has been in a management position should be able to understand and see the reasons behind it. Whether you like it or not, like myself, is a different story. I don't like it. I can't stand the idea of my club being diluted in the world population when, you know, I travel down from Northampton, so it's a good 60, 70 miles away. But I know people that live literally a stone's throw away from the ground. They're getting edged out by it as well. Do you know what I mean? So I was saying on Dugout that if this was still happening and what was going on, just turn your back. You just got to turn your back and use your voice and use your feet to go back. So club like fans of Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, all the six that are going to be involved in it. Turn your back on them. People in Merseyside, go watch Tranmere, go watch Wigan, go watch Blackburn because it's not far. Go watch Preston. And the Arsenal fans that are local, go watch Boreham Wood. Go to Barnet. You know, if you're from Manchester, go to when Bury get restarted. Go to Bury.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's
You know,
it.
do
Start
that
pumping the
and
money
put
into the clubs that need it. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that it might end up, if the fans are as loud as they are on Twitter and on Facebook as they are in real life, then football as a whole will probably benefit financially, because these people, if they stick by their word, will turn their back on these big clubs. Even fans that like I was listening to Four Manx One Toffee earlier on today as well. They had a very emotionally charged podcast yesterday, because it was still like super fresh. They recorded that at like 8 o'clock, so it was all freaking happening at that same time. And by the name, Four Manx One Toffee, 4 Man United fans, 1 Everton fan, and the Everton fan was like, I don't want this either. I don't want to be known as the best of the rest, or like the worst ones that are left over. Like if it was to stay like this, and like whoever was going to get inducted in, the other 6 had left, and Everton won the title, that wouldn't feel like we've won anything. And that says it all, doesn't it?
No one wants to win it under winning it under
default
pretenses. Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah. You want to do a Leicester.
You want to
actually have a fairy tale and actually go, wow, you've done it the right way, the way that people can commend you and go, that was superb. Not, oh yeah, like you say, well done, the best of the red. Like, I don't know if you've seen today, like Wolves changed their Twitter handle.
Yes,
Premier League champion 17-18, and then Southampton tweeting going, congratulations from the 2014-15 champions. And it's great to see all these fans. And by the way, I just got to bring up something here. This to me sums up everything you need to know. Now, this isn't coming from certain people. But obviously, Arsenal have sent out an open letter to the fans. And
do you know what? I'm gonna I'm gonna throw the letter up on screen. Okay. So when you're finished, you work away, and then when you're done, I'll fire it.
About them, for starters, in their tweet, they're the only ones to say sorry for starters. Not that it helps, but it's a start. And it's a big, last few days have shown us the depth of the Phoenix supporters around the world and the love for the game. And we need reminding of this response. And it was never intended to cause such distress. However, the invitation was good and no guarantees. And the result of listening to you and the wider community over recent days, we're now withdrawing. And, a fairly decent long letter. And here we now have it. J.W. Henry's fantastic letter to the Liverpool supporters.
Oh, my God. Here we go.
This is fantastic. Ready? Liverpool Football Club can confirm that our involvement in proposed plans to form a European Super League has been discontinued. In recent days, the club has received representations from various key stakeholders, both internally and externally, and would like to thank them for their valuable contributions.
Yeah.
That's it. That's literally their statement. I mean,
have you heard the Spurs one?
Have they even got one?
Yeah, Daniel Levy wrote one.
They got more apology letters than trophies.
It literally sounds like he was writing that angrily, and he broke his pen about 10 times writing it. Like he's got no remorse, and like, you know what? This is the thing. This whole thing has actually brought fans together. Yeah. Of rival fans. Man United and Liverpool fans have been arm in arm pretty much about this. Arsenal and Spurs fans, whether you like to hear it or not, have been drawn together by this, because I know of 2 people that were. I know one person who welcomed the idea, and I know one person who is staunchly for the idea, and that is it. But I'm still confused as to why those 2 are even, entertaining the idea. I think it's disgusting. Honestly, football has left the most disgusting, bitter, sour taste in my mouth. Yeah. That I will never forget what has happened over the last 48 hours. And it's almost unforgivable. And it makes me wonder, what do I do with my club? Do I, how can I, because it's not the gaffer's fault. It's not the player's fault. In fact, Arteta knew absolutely jack all about it. They interviewed him on Monday morning, 100%. And he was like, "Well, this is the first I've just heard about it." Yeah, they're having because obviously Chelsea played today, so they had the the day before they have the press conference. They started hammering Tuchel with questions, and Tuchel was like,
he hadn't a clue.
I don't really know what's going on, so I could barely comment on it. But what I'm going to do, all I know is that I'm the manager of this club. And then Jurgen Klopp last night, I think he got the wrong end of the stick. I think he thought that Gary Neville was trying to dig him out or something. Yeah. Gary Neville's in support of him, and Gary, he even turned around and said, "I was like, whoa." Obviously, he's a bit salty after like throwing away 2 points at the end of that game. But I'm with. I don't think he understands what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm with him, and I'll stand there and support him, and we need to do something about it. And what I don't like is everyone banging on about Sky being like, oh, well, Sky did the same thing with the Premier League. Well, I'm sorry, if you play amateur football on a Saturday afternoon, there is nothing stopping that club getting from where they are on Hackney Marshes or the racecourse in Northampton or wherever, getting to the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
There's no laws stopping them getting there.
Yeah.
Whereas the European Super League is an elitist group that is for these guys and these guys only. When they first mooted the idea, literally 48 hours ago, they had such a backlash straight away. It was like they regurgitated what they were going through, and then just like, you know, offered it in a different way by saying, "Oh no, we're gonna let a couple more teams in, and they could come in and dip out, you know, like relegate." You never wanted that. You're trying to do that to try and appease fans. Fuck off.
You know, like, what way they were even going to work that, I don't know, right? Because there was supposed to be there was 12 founding members that they wanted to become 15 founding members, and as you said, there was going to be 5 clubs that dip in and dip out. They were looking to expel these 15 clubs from their domestic leagues. What happens to the clubs that dip in and dip out for a season? Are you risking expulsion for the sake of dipping out for a season? Because
and in the UK,
when you come back
in England, if you were to leave and you wanting to come back, you'd have to start again from the National League.
Exactly.
But
You can't like leave.
But that's what the Premier League have said and the Football League have said. The National League are like, fuck off, you ain't coming in here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, why should they come in and take someone else's spot?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you chose to leave. You know what I mean? This was on you. So the whole thing, although it was gathering the traction and the wheels were in motion, the clubs were saying everything, they all came out together, and you sort of said, Jesus, this is happening. At the same time, you sat there and said, you know what? It just feels like at times it can't. There's just too much. And you know what? It's making me wonder now, like some people have said, potentially there's been some kind of offer made financially by UEFA and FIFA or whoever involved to the clubs. And it makes you sit back and say, now, was this part of the plan to get something more that they weren't getting? You know, I guess sometimes if you have a standoff, let's say with an employer or something, you're looking for a pay rise, and you know you're offering all sorts. You know, well, look, I've done this and I'm here this amount of years, and you want a bit of value for your contribution, and you're getting nothing, and it gets to the point where you go, okay, look, there's my 2 weeks notice, I'm off, and suddenly, okay, actually, how much did you want? There's your extra 10 cents an hour. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and potentially this could be part of the plan, the grand scheme of things, that they thought maybe we called our bluff a little bit. Maybe they were absolutely not biting on whatever negotiations they had, and they said, right, how are they going to say no to 12 of us? You know, 12 of the super clubs. How are they going to say no to that?
Well, at the end of the day, look, the Premier League is a cash cow. There's how many financial irregularities are going on with these clubs that are in Italy and Spain at the moment. You know, in Spain, like, you got Barcelona. Barcelona are globally one of the biggest clubs. You know, I would say they're the top 3 biggest clubs of all time. I should say, of latter day. They've got no money. They can't afford to give Messi a new contract. They haven't even paid Liverpool for the whole fee for Coutinho. He left 4 years ago. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, they've got no money. So they need clubs like the Premier League, like from the Premier League, in order to help them. They're thinking, oh yeah, what we'll do, we'll get everyone together and everyone can benefit from it. But the English clubs pull out, they've got no leg to stand on.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? This is something kind of touching on what Liam said earlier about some of the English clubs taking the moral high ground. And I said this as well when I'd heard that it was Man City, first of all, had come out and said, right, look, we're out. You know, you do what you want to do. We're out. We're going to be the heroes here. And then Chelsea decided they were going to follow. They were the two clubs that did not need a penny.
Well,
the two clubs that
they're
don't
not
make
going to be
sense.
doing it for financial gain.
Exactly.
Like
So it was easy for
dugout,
them. It's easy for them to say, actually, we don't need any part of this because all the other clubs could do with the cash. So it's easy for them to go, actually, do you know what? This isn't worth the backlash for a couple of quid that we're all right for anyway. So you're cool. Yeah, we'll dip out. All good,
look,
lads.
on the dugout, there's a City fan, and she's been a diehard City fan since the beginning. You know what I mean? So like when anyone talks about City, I will sit there and listen to her because she knows what the crack is, if that makes sense. And like she said it real. I know, to be fair, I back City quite a lot when people are kicking off saying, "Oh, they're this, they're that, and they're the other," because they might have a lot of money, but I do honestly think that they do things in the right way. I really do think they do things the right way. The amount of money that they've reinvested into that city and that part of the city as well. I know Arsenal done it the same.
Whether you love them or hate them, they have a great model. They're doing things brilliantly. Yeah,
they have. And when they go out and buy players, I don't think if I'm honest, I don't think they really take the piss that much. They will go out and do what every major club should be doing, and is looking at the clubs that are in the the tier below them. Or the tier below that. So like basically what Liverpool did when they bought Mane and when they bought Van Dijk.
When they bought Southampton,
Southampton aren't competing with Arsenal. With Liverpool, sorry. And same when they've gone out and bought Diogo Jota as well. Wolves aren't competing with Liverpool. You know what I mean? But those are the best players or the better players of the clubs that are lesser than them. So I remember how many times it's been going around saying Arsenal should probably look at Basuma and look at Lamptey. I'm down for that because they're the best players at clubs that are lesser than us. But I'm seeing Arsenal fans getting a bit elitist and a bit more high ground, saying no, we just got to buy some world class players. Rah rah. We ain't world class. If we go out and buy players from Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, yada yada, and they're coming to Arsenal, that tells me that they're not good enough to be playing for those clubs. So they're not going to put in the effort and the same levels as they would as if you were to buy someone who is desperate for an opportunity almost. They want to get up and they want to prove themselves. And I feel like City do that, and they've been doing it over and over and over again. They might spend a little bit more. So like if that player's worth 20 mil, they might pay 30. Yeah. I just find that's more of a jealousy thing. It's not.
Well, I think that's always going to be the case because if City start a negotiation with your club, they've got the money, and again, you can play poker a little bit. You can call their bluff, and you can sort of say, you really want this guy, right? There's an extra 10, 15 million slapped on top because it's Man City. But yeah, comparing the City way of doing things to, I guess, Chelsea. Like, look at the players that Chelsea have signed and let slip through. De Bruyne, Lukaku, Salah, signing for the sake of just snatching up the talent and knowing that they're never going to get the opportunities. You can't squeeze them all into the one team. Where City are actually signing with intention of using, which is great. And I suppose in a sense, like you said, with the Liverpool model, it's almost kind of like the Bayern Munich model. They like to sign within the Bundesliga, so you kind of pick the best of your rivals who are slightly below you to keep them slightly below you. Exactly. Yeah.
I've got no issue with that because once again that goes down the sort of like the business route. And if you want to be successful, every club that no matter what club you support, you want them to have some form of success. And if that's the way you want to go out and do it, I don't think it's underhanded. I don't think it's backhanded or out of order or anything like that. I think what they're doing is fine. It's just we don't like it as Arsenal fans because we've got an owner who is rich as fuck and is not prepared to reinvest it into the club. But
we've got we found the only broke billionaire in the world. We managed to find.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a drug dealer who's got no money.
Yeah.
Why would you trust them? I don't do drugs. I smoke tobacco and I drink alcohol, but I know drug dealers. They're all rich.
Yeah.
Apart from a couple. And the ones that are broke,
Clever
I'm thinking, why are you broke? I'm well confused. Why are you broke?
But Gav, I was asking Liam and Den earlier.
Was Den on?
Yeah, Den was on. Den came on for.
I've not met you, Liam. I'll say that next time.
No,
But I was asking the lads kind of their feeling with regards to Stan Kroenke. He generally doesn't need a lot of excuse not to put his hand in his pocket. And if he is still here next season, which unfortunately I believe he will be, I think if he is going to go, it's not going to be overnight. I don't think we're going to expect an announcement by the end of the week. So if he is here, do you think the fact that we didn't go ahead with this Super League, we're not getting this big cash injection, is this just another excuse for him not to put his hand in his pocket and turn around and say, well, I tried to give you 250, 300 million, but now we don't have money because of COVID and pandemic. Just more of an excuse for this fella.
Yeah, it will be. I mean, like, the thing is, I can't imagine Arsenal going out and signing anyone if we were in that league anyway. That 350 or 400 million, whatever it is, would have just gone straight in his back pocket anyway. And it wouldn't have mattered because Arsenal would never get relegated. Arsenal would come bottom of that league every year. Didn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. If we come second bottom, we come higher than Spurs. That is it. It would be the only team that we would beat over time. Spurs.
Yeah.
We might get a draw against AC Milan.
That's it. Or whoever comes in from the 5 teams every season.
Yeah, exactly. That is all that would happen. And yeah, it would just be coining.
By the way, talking of absolute clueless owners, obviously Perez, the owner of Real Madrid, obviously is the chairman of this Super League. Apparently there is an official announcement due later on tonight to state that the Super League is still going ahead just without the English clubs. I mean, can you really be so stupid to think that this is still going to happen? Like, what honestly, how warped and how thick do you have to be to think this is still going to continue? Like, seriously, wake up and smell the coffee. You're not in charge anymore. You are not getting your own way. You're not using these clubs as toys and puppets. Go.
And you just asked me a question about Stan Kroenke and blah, blah, blah. Well, Fabrizio Romano has just tweeted that all the boards of the top clubs are now in danger.
I'm
what that means, I don't know yet. I don't know what that means yet. But
well, you know what? I would like to think maybe this is an opportunity for the FA to kind of sit back and put some pressure on these guys. Now, look, obviously, I don't know the ins and outs. I don't know what they can and can't do. I don't know what restrictions they could impose. But if I was, part of the FA, this would be my opportunity to go, you know what? Fuck yous. We're gonna make life difficult to the point where maybe they have to go. Maybe it's not worth their while owning a football club in the Premier League anymore. Get these guys out. If they were willing to try their hand at the first opportunity, something happens in another 10 years' time, what's to stop them trying this again? So, I think it's time, fair is fair. Karma's a bitch. Get them out.
Like, a lot of the owners are American and stuff, and of these clubs that are involved from the UK. But like, people are moaning and say, "Oh, we don't want to like Americanize this, that, and the other." Like in America, like for instance, like the NFL. There's 32 NFL teams. That's across the country, isn't it? This is Europe. These are the things that happen across a number of clubs, rich clubs in Europe. And like people say, "Oh yeah," but like because David Beckham had something to say about it, or people saying, "Well, he's a fat one to talk." Like what's he doing? Like buying out MLS clubs and stuff. Do you know how many times the America, like soccer in America, has been reformed and stuff because it's gone tits up every time?
Yeah.
This is the first time it's actually been sustainable. So, but it's not exclusive. It's not exclusive. Austin FC, I've got a good friend who works as part of Austin FC as a subsidiary on Austin FC, and he was on the show on MAD Sports Network, which will be the show will be aired tomorrow at 10 p.m. Nice little plug. They're a new club, but they've been in the work for the last 2-3 years, and there's expansion for 3 more teams to join the MLS. So if you want to join the MLS, you can. So it's not an exclusive thing. Yeah. But it's America. That's a sport in that country. So the same things happening in England. The Premier League is not an exclusive thing. As I mentioned before, if you play Saturday afternoon, you have the pathway of getting in. Look at Bournemouth. Bournemouth were about to get relegated out of the Football League. Fast forward 10 years, they come 10th in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
So the pathways, the opportunities are there. You know, it's not an elitist mentality. We have 3 Welsh clubs in our top 5 divisions.
Yeah, exactly.
Scotland have got one of ours. Greenock.
Yeah. I was like,
yeah, Granite Water, isn't it?
No, I was waiting. I was thinking geography.
Oh no, 2. They've got 2 actually. Gretna Green, isn't it? Gretna. They play in like the 5th tier of Scottish football, or whatever. But you know what I mean? Like there's, and also don't understand why, for argument's sake, Celtic and Rangers weren't involved or invited into this, because they might play in a league that we all know is pretty pony. And those 2 run off and do it. It would ruin Scottish football forever if they left. Yeah. And whether we like it or not, Celtic Rangers have actually got global market.
Yeah, you know? they're huge fan bases.
Celtic were the first British team to win a European Cup.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, if we want to talk about heritage, if we want to talk about heritage, then why weren't Forest invited?
I was going to say Forest, Aston Villa, yeah.
Wolves. Why weren't Wolves involved?
Ajax.
Ajax.
They won it 3 years on the trot, Ajax, in the 90s.
Yeah. In the 70s.
Sorry, they won it in the 90s, didn't they?
But they won it in 95. They won it in the 95. They got to the final in 96. Where's their invitation? PSV, they won it in 87, I believe.
Yeah.
What? Red Star Belgrade. They won it in 91. Corona Svesa. However, they're not marketable brands. No. They're not rich. That's why.
That's it. They were basically they were
we're marketable at the moment in terms of what we're doing on the pitch, but in terms of our brand, we're giant.
Yeah, they were going down the rich list, basically pretending that it was earned on merit. These are successful clubs, but then straight away, again, I'm not even trying to diss Tottenham, but like
really, right to be there.
They actually haven't, and this isn't even a dig.
I don't think we've got any right to be there.
Well, no one has. To be fair, no one has. No one's got the God-given right to be an elitist.
No, but like if you want to say like we want to get if we want to say like we're going to get the best teams, I'm going to put Man City and Liverpool in there.
Yeah.
And over the last, because I want to say, let's say over the last 10 years, I'll probably want to base it more over the last 10 years. They're the only, and Chelsea would be the only other team that would get involved in this rich list.
Porto.
Porto aren't marketable enough. Benfica are more marketable. Benfica and Sporting are more marketable than Porto, who have won the Champions League in 2004. They won the UEFA Cup in 2003. They're in the Champions League pretty much every year, but they're not pretty.
That's what someone said to me earlier about if certain teams said no, and just to fill the gaps, for instance, say not like PSG, but like looking at the going further down, like your Mets and your Knicks. But again, why? They're not big enough names. They're not big enough brands. People don't care about them, and that's the problem. As I said to you, that it comes to a point where I think this really has come from that they were worried and scared that the smaller clubs is a horrible word to use, in the fact of like your Everton, your West Ham, your Wolves, and that, because they're closing the gap and they're the ones with the money, and these clubs aren't. They go, hang on a minute, I've got money, they haven't. How are they closing the gap on me? How can we make sure that they don't close the gap anymore? This is what we'll do. And I think,
hop in fair and I'll close the door behind me.
You're literally taking away fair competition because you're shit scared that your money means fuck all in this game. What is wrong with you? Spend it like you said earlier. If Chelsea want to spend their money, I don't like it, but fair enough, spend it. It's your money, whatever. But make it fair. If these clubs are able to find gems and they close the gap, then fair fucking play. They've done it the right way, and give them a chance to do so.
Man City lost 8-1 to Middlesbrough on the final day of the season, and that summer they were bought out. The following summer, Robinho was bought. I think they need to remember where they come from sometimes. Definitely. Because that was only 13 years ago. Mm-hmm. And
you know what, Gav, I'm old enough to have witnessed Man City getting relegated.
Yeah, same.
It wasn't that long ago.
If it weren't for Paul Dickov, they would still be playing in Division 2. It's called Division 2 then, the third tier of English football. It was Gillingham. They beat Gillingham in the playoff final. So if it weren't for Paul Dickov and it weren't for Nicky Weaver, and then when they come back, players like Danny Tiato, Danny Mills, and Sean Goater, and
Sean Goater.
Feed the goat.
Sun G High.
Richard Dunn, legend.
Wearing brother shirts.
You had to get it in,
I had to Richard Dunn. Hey, I remember Niall Quinn playing for Man City.
Quinn.
When they were sponsored by Brother.
My brother, that's what I'm saying. Get the brother shirts out. Yeah. Georgia King Clancy, like Nicky Summerby. Do you know what I mean? Like these are players that have been like part of the history of Man City. And Man City were just an average club.
That's the funny thing about it. Like, again, I know, look, it's understandable. It's what happens when a club gets a bit of success and the younger generation grow up and they're inheriting these clubs because they're more in your face. But literally up till 10, 15 years ago, those guys you named were the legends of Man City, who I reckon half the people nowadays, they couldn't name them. They wouldn't know who they were. Like, if you said
they're putting a statue of Company and Aguero outside the ground, which, to be fair, they are like they've been there for 10 years, like each, and they are legends, and they have helped propel Man City into what they are right now.
Yeah,
but don't forget where you come from.
But
exactly.
Don't forget your history.
For me, like what you said there earlier about talking about the FA Cup and the kids of today don't understand what it means because of the way it's been devalued by United and Liverpool and the Champions League. I remember, growing up, going to school, and as typical down south in London, all the school kids were United fans because obviously all United fans come from down south. That's just how it works. Yeah. And nowadays, you then go to school, and now they're all Chelsea fans. Thankfully, there's not really many City fans. For me, it's not quite filtered to here yet.
Next 10 years, there'll be loads of City fans.
It's amazing that. And that's the thing. I look at these fans and these kids, and I think I feel sorry for you because you're obviously not supporting these clubs for me for the right reason.
Well, it depends. It depends. Like, because at the end of the day, I'm from Northampton.
No. But what I mean is
I'm an Arsenal fan.
But I've gone to school and like literally 90% of my class are all United fans. What? And they happen to be winning things at the time. Like, well, you can't say that these are all United fans for the right reason, though.
When you're a kid like that, but do you know what? I haven't got an issue with that. I really haven't got an issue with that at all because, like, when you're a kid, when you're playing football, you want to emulate the best players. And if you're or someone who you love and whatever, I could have supported anyone. I could have ended up as a Cobblers fan. I had three main mates in lower school. One was a United fan, one was a West Ham fan, one was an Arsenal fan. I always want, like, my mate, who's the Arsenal fan, used to pretend to have ginger hair. Well, he's got ginger hair. He used to pretend to be Ray Parlour. So he passed the ball to me and I would score. So I was either going to be Kevin Campbell or Ian Wright. There was only two ways of doing it. If he was a Man United fan and he would have pretended to be Paul Scholes, then I would have been Andy Cole at the time because he was there before Dwight York. So then, do you see what I mean? Like, so that's what happens with kids. And it's it's not always up to the parents. The parents can have an influence. Like, on my stepson, his dad is Aston Villa fan. We are trying so hard to make him an Arsenal fan, but he wants to be a Villa fan. So that's fine, So
he's probably better off, Gav. I think you should probably let him go.
His dad's from Coventry, and like he's actually born in Northampton, born and raised. But as he gets older, if Villa, it doesn't matter what Villa are doing, he's a Villa fan. That's the way it is, and that's his parents' influence. But if his parents, I've got friends that are like their family are all Arsenal fans. There's one runt, I'll call it, who's turned into a Spurs fan, but they've done that as a rebel against their family, just for banter. But they've done it for banter, but then it's stuck. And like when I was a kid, Man United were winning things all the time. And when you are 6, 7, 8 years old, you can't understand the idea and the process of losing all the time or things like that. So why would they want to choose anyone else other than Man United?
I think it's just a shame that obviously football. Look, 90% of the country love football, and it's such a big thing. And for me, it's always about something like a DNA within a club. It's something that's inherited, and it's just a shame that. Listen, there are, like you said, there are kids out there that unfortunately do rebel.
Ant's from Ireland. He's an Arsenal fan.
So is my dad, and so is my dad, and he actually moved over here. And that's
so why don't you support Cork or Dublin or something?
But then he actually moved over here because of Arsenal, and then my mum and dad met at Arsenal. Hence why I'm an Arsenal fan. So for me, literally, I was born into it. It's just a shame that it's just a shame that there isn't more of that. Passing it, like almost passing it on. We love still now talking about David Rocastle and what he meant to us as a club and what he meant to the fans. And we're able to pass that on through stories that we can give. And it's a shame that we can't do more of that with our own generations.
But we can.
We try.
Right now, yeah. But then,
because the kids are buying. That's when kids are too worried about success instead of having a little bit of failure and just supporting the
kids.
Because
the kids were doing that in the 70s. Like how many people? I don't know how old you are, but like I know those people that were born like into things and are now Liverpool fans because of how good they were in the 70s and the 80s. That's the way of the world.
But to me, it's a glory hunter, and I think pick a club for a reason. I know people that.
But that is the reason they picked that club, because they won something.
Yeah, they picked it because of the success. I guess
one of my pals is a Liverpool fan. He had a choice whether to pick whoever he wanted, and he loved the idea of red, and he loved Arsenal and loved Man United, and he was like, whoever wins this game, loved Arsenal and loved Liverpool. He said, whoever wins this game, I'm going to support him. Just so happened it was the day when Robbie Fowler scored that 3.5-minute hat-trick against us. But from that moment, he is then a Liverpool fan. He's chosen that path. That's up to him. That's up to the individual. I don't I'm hearing what you're saying, but I don't understand it, if I'm honest. And it's because I don't think it really matters. Like, I will encourage my daughter to be an Arsenal fan. Well, I would encourage my daughter to be an Arsenal fan. Nowadays, literally over the last 48 hours, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to do that, and that's not me being against Arsenal, because I love my players and I love my gaffer. Not necessarily, I didn't really want him there in the first place, but I will support him. Yeah. But what Arsenal Football Club, as from the top level, what they've done to me emotionally over the last 48 hours, and not just me as an Arsenal fan, what my mates Man United fans, what the Glazers have done to him, what my pals at Liverpool fans, what FSG have done to them, and all that sort of stuff, is not really setting a good example for me to explain this to my daughter when she's older.
The only thing is,
so
Gav, right?
I'm at a point where I'm thinking, you can choose, but you're not allowed to support Spurs.
Yeah, I think the only thing is, right, this has been a debate that's obviously been sparked the last couple of shows, and that in the heat of the moment, I think it's easy for people to turn around and say, you know what, like, fuck Arsenal, fuck this club, fuck the owners, the club want to do this. This is the end for me. I'll never wear an Arsenal shirt again. I'll never go to a game. I'll never support them. I can see reasons as to why, in the heat of the moment that, but. I mean, I look at it and I kind of say, look, Arsenal are they're in a bad ownership model at the moment. Like, do I feel that is the true Arsenal? No, like, that is not the Arsenal I grew up with and fell in love with and gravitated towards. I know a different Arsenal. The current Arsenal I see is not the Arsenal of old that I know. That led me to support them. Like, again, as you said, look, I'm Irish. I'm on the outside. My dad is an Arsenal fan, which obviously helped. My granddad's an Arsenal fan, that helped. But yeah, growing up, I was surrounded by. It was the era of Man United. Man United were winning everything. Everyone was wearing Man United shirts. All my friends, Man United fans, and of course, growing up, like your early years, all your friends are Man United fans. What are you going to do? Yeah, I'm a Man United fan too. But when I came of an age that I said, you know what, I'm looking at things differently now. I've got my own mind, and I can view the world myself. And it was nothing even to do with my dad. It helped. It helped that we had this bond we could share, and that with Arsenal. But it was my own decision that I sort of said, there's something about this club that I like. And I couldn't explain what it was, but I was drawn towards Arsenal. And this was before we had success. I think I started supporting Arsenal. I think when we had Bruce Rioch as the manager, as far as I can remember, that little stint. So it pure wasn't
Good
glory
gaffer.
hunt. I know the good years came after, and I got lucky, you know. But yeah, look, as I said, when it comes to, yeah, we're all hurting a little bit now because of what the club has put us through. But I try to look at it and I say, you know what, Stan Kroenke's Arsenal, that's not my Arsenal, and those days will eventually pass. Now, hopefully, in my lifetime, the Kroenke ownership is long gone, and we move on to the next, and maybe we might all get, you know, our Arsenal back, you know, the Arsenal that we all fell in love with. But I'm trying not to hold it against the club on a personal level. I'm holding it against Stan Kroenke and the owners. I'm not holding it against, you know, the management, the playing staff. I'm holding it against the man that owns the keys to the club, and him only, because at the end of the day, everyone else is just an employee there. You know, you do what you're told for the sake of your job and whatever else. So yeah, I understand. I do understand the side of it that people are saying, you know, they feel hurt and betrayed. That's completely normal. That's completely fine. I felt that myself over the last couple of days. But like I said, I'm holding it against Kroenke, not Arsenal.
The thing is, where that will hurt is like, well, do you know what? I'm not prepared to pay for that match ticket. I'm not going to be prepared to do that. So that's how you make your stand, but you'll watch it at home.
Hey, Gav,
you're sort of doing the same thing by paying.
I know you see me sitting here with this, yeah? We see this? This didn't go to Stan Kroenke. I'm just putting it out there. You see this?
Yeah.
This went to my jersey dealer. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but look, we've all got to connect. We've all got to connect. We're like, to be fair, like I've got a couple of retro ones which I did get directly from the club. That was unfortunate. But yeah, it's just, paying to go and watch Arsenal. I don't want to be doing that right now because I don't want to be giving my money to them. But then it works with Sky. That's what I mean. Like from home, you know, I'll watch it from home then, you know, or I'll watch it in the pub then. Well, the pub, like, you're paying for your pints at the pub. You think, oh, that's fine, but that money's still going towards paying the bill for Sky. You can't avoid making a stand against that club by against a high level unless you stay well away from it and turn your back on it. And
the problem is, though, with Arsenal being in London, the problem is, as you know, there's so many tourists and people with money that if you don't go, someone else always will because of where it's located. I think that's always been my issue with it, because I'd love to, obviously I've got a season ticket and I'd love to give it back and almost go, no, I'm not doing it. But once I pay for that season ticket, whether then I attend or not, don't mean anything to the club. That's it. I've already paid for it.
You do. Right,
and if I give it back,
someone else, there's a waiting list for fucking.
And then another 20 years of wait. So it's so hard to go nope, because I can't wait 20 years to get it back. And as you say, if you knew that you could all do it, like you say, and make a start and get it back, then brilliant.
Well, the thing is, that's another thing. People are always quick to say, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. We'll never take action. And that's what I was saying about going to watch like your local club or whatever. I can't remember if I mentioned it on here, if I was mentioning it on the other show. But yeah, go do that or make a stand and do it. But they won't. So when it gets to match day and fans are going to be allowed in, no one's been at grounds recently because of COVID and all that sort of shit. Can't wait to flock into the ground. Can't wait to pay £9 a pint.
Well, that's it. Look, you know, it's easy to sit back and, you know, we all get annoyed about certain things and we all say, oh, you know, I'm not paying for this, I'm not doing that, I'm supporting that. But for every 1,000 fans that are out there on Twitter saying that, there's another 1,000 that are thinking the opposite and saying, like you said, I can't wait to get in there. I can't wait to get my hands on the new shirt. And we all have this point of view about certain things, but for every side of things we see, there are people out there that see another side. You know, you could take 60,000 fans out of the Emirates this week, there'll be another 60,000 waiting to go in that think totally different, that are going, you know what, things aren't that bad. You know, what are you complaining about? You know, that would be, I'm not saying we're ungrateful or anything like that, but there would be guys that if you're willing to give up your ticket, there's always someone willing to take it off you. And the clubs know this, because I heard this a long time ago, a couple of years back, when people were getting annoyed about Kroenke potentially buying the club, and they were saying, look, the way to stop this guy taking over is to hurt his pocket, and we all stop, you know, paying for our season tickets, we stop buying tickets. But, you know, someone had said that you could stop buying tickets for the next couple of years, and the waiting list is that long that those seats are long filled. And again, there's people like that on that waiting list 3, 4, 5 years who only cannot wait to get their hands on that ticket, and they're going, you know what, I'm not passing up this opportunity no matter how I'm feeling. I'm taking this because this chance will never roll around again.
Yeah.
That's
Sad,
what it comes
isn't
down
it?
to, you know.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
It's just the world we live in. Like, literally, I think maybe 3 months ago, I put my son on the waiting list for a season ticket. Now I'm pretty sure he's in I think the number 80-odd thousand. Like, there you go. I put my son on the waiting list, and there's like 80-odd thousand people ahead of him. So 30,000 fans give us index tomorrow. The proof is there. Another 30,000 is taken, and that's the problem with it being a club like Arsenal, you know, Chelsea, even Tottenham, you know, whatever. These clubs are too big that there will always be people that will go, and you know, what the owners call the legacy fans. If anything, they don't even want us going anymore. They want fans of the future going, and because they can manipulate the way these youngsters think and view football, that they can get them viewing it in such a way that it then commoditizes the way they want it done. Obviously, thankfully, it's not work, but that's just they want to shape how these youngsters think and act, and that's what they want. And effectively, it's like then the children become their puppets because they can manipulate them
dictation
any way they want, and that's the issue. They don't want people like us three who've got an opinion on our club and have watched our club and have seen different owners. They don't want that. And that
just pisses me off because the soul of the club is been diminishing over years anyway. I mean, like, I'll always flip back to one particular fixture because I went to like 3 or 4 games on the spin at home, and the final one that I went to of that little run was Arsenal Fulham on New Year's Day, and I was talking as quietly as this, and I was able to hear what my mate was saying next to me, speaking this quiet. And I could hear a conversation that was going on in the next block because it was just a little bit of chit chat. We won the game 4-0, 4-1. Battered them, and there was no atmosphere, no emotion, and I'm just like, people look at me funny when we bag, and I'm like mad happy about it. I'm getting up and fucking like screaming and shouting because I'm happy that Arsenal are taking the lead or pulled one back or scored a worldie, and people are looking at me funny like, okay.
Do you know what? I can second that because the amount of times I've been at a game and it's like the same. So my ticket, and there's always the usual faces around me, obviously, and you might get the odd random fan, and yet it'll come to say Arsenal, say Fulham. I'll use that as an example. Arsenal, Fulham. So you're standing up, you're watching the game, and sit down, and
fuck off, get up as well, you prick.
You tend to sit down, and all of a sudden, the following week was Arsenal, Liverpool, and every fucker started thinking, hang on a minute, where was this energy? Because you're only little Fulham, you don't want to hang on a minute. You wonder why we get mugged off by the opposite fan. It's pricks like you. You want to stand up for Liverpool? Oh, it's only Fulham. Let's just sit down and watch. No,
this is a time to stand up.
Who gives a fuck who's playing? You're supporting Arsenal, so have the same energy for every game, and that's the problem again. Us as fans have allowed this to happen because too many fair weather fans who don't care enough are going to the games. Like, you're going to watch Arsenal, get up for it, enjoy it. Like you said there, we scored against Fulham. You know, celebrate like it's a World Cup final or something. Just celebrate you scored. And I just don't get why if you can pick and choose when to be emotional or not about Arsenal at a certain game, then you're obviously not a true fan, are you?
No.
Yeah.
Your team scored, you're fucking buzzing.
Yeah,
exactly. So this is why it's called the library, isn't it?
Leaving it like on the 83rd minute, shit like that. But that's not just an Arsenal problem.
No,
that is a football problem at the moment, you know. And that's not even a big club thing as well. It's like, you know, I've seen it happen at Cobblers when I popped down. It's like, let's beat the traffic. If we leave now, I might be able to get to the Sixfields Tavern before everyone else rushes in here to just get a pint in. Well, I'll tell you what, get a pint in a bit. Yeah. We'll wait a little bit longer. You know, our record at home is pretty damn good. I've only actually ever been to a game where I've seen Arsenal lose once at home, and but there's been times when we have been trailing going into the 90th minute. There's been times that we are drawing in the 90th minute and we've gone on to win or we've gone on to get a point. And I've stood there, I've fucking waited. I've waited right until that last second. And then I'll go. And it's annoying. And I moan about it. I'm gagging for a piss. I'm moaning about it that I can't get out of the ground quick enough or I can't get to the toilet quick enough. But I stayed and I supported my club. Fuck my train. I'll be another one in 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's it. Like you stay to the end. You support, like, you know.
And if you know you're not going to be able to make the last train, don't bother fucking going that day. Give your tickets to someone else or whatever. Save yourself for a Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock.
I've done it many times where I've gone to like I mentioned earlier about the Swansea away game I'd done. You know, I think my train was at 5 a.m. and then 2 of the lads wanted to shoot off to start. I think I got to Swansea for about 11 o'clock and the game went actually till 5:30. And I was like, fuck it, I'm having a day in Swansea. I'm enjoying
Swansea's 6, it's decent.
Yeah,
we won 3-0. I don't remember much of the game. I've said, no, we won 3-0. After the game, it's 8:30. I'm having a few more beers. A couple of the lads were like, oh, we're going to shoot. And me and my mate Kurt were like, no, sod this. And we got the last train at like 10:30. I'm like, no, you
stayed to the end and you were staying afterwards. But there's people that would be like, right, okay, you know, like if you know you're going on those away days, plan your journey. Plan your journey. You know, you're not like book a hotel, you know, or whatever. Do something. Don't leave the ground early. And as I said, that stretches out to all football fans. You know, everyone knows I'm an Arsenal fan, but I'm a giant Palermo fan. And I went over to Venice a couple of years ago to watch them play against Cittadella, which is like one of the closest grounds. It was Venezia and Cittadella were the closest ones, and Padova, but Padova were in our division at the time. And game kicked off at 8 p.m. local time. Last train was at 9:30. Do you know what I did? Paid 120 quid for a taxi, a taxi back to Venice, because I knew I weren't going to be able to make that last train because I had flown out to fucking Italy to go and watch my team play in like 2 hours outside of Venice. I'm staying to the end of this game.
Yeah, that's dedication.
That's what you do. That's what you do. That's what you do if you support a club.
Exactly.
That's what you do if you support a club. You stand by it and you run with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, look, that almost, I guess, goes back to like what I said earlier about would you be able to realistically turn your back and support? And I know, like Liam especially, I know you have, as we touched on earlier, the real emotional ties. Yeah, but what I'll do is I'm going to jump into the chat here real quick. Big shout out to Ray, Arsenal Fan Circle. For anyone who hasn't checked out, definitely go check out Arsenal Fan Circle and subscribe. That is the channel that I made my debut on, believe it or not. So,
fair play.
So I owe Ray especially an awful lot. Ray was the bad influence. So you can blame Ray for seeing my face and having to hear my voice. But big shout out to Ray. I used to have a contract. I actually broke my contract. I had a contract with Arsenal Fan Circle where I used to make appearances. I think the rule was every time Arsenal won. So that's why you haven't seen me very often there. Every time they won. But big shout out to Ray and the lads doing brilliant things over there. But I will be back, I promise. I know I keep saying that, but I promise. But yeah, as Ray says, what does it say about the club that the players were never briefed on the last 48 hours?
That's what I'm saying.
Initially, I was thinking, look, they're obviously going to come out and say, well, we don't know anything about it. But then, because I thought, how are managers not being briefed on this? Surely they have to know. But as it went on, you kind of said, actually, you know what? I don't think they do. It's madness. Where's the communication? I guess from an Arsenal perspective, I don't think I'm overly surprised. I'm surprised the likes of maybe Chelsea and better run clubs like Man City, would presume
I feel like there's
more
more of a relationship from board to top end playing staff.
Yeah, I mean, for Arsenal, Stan Kroenke probably doesn't know who the Arsenal manager is, so he wouldn't know who he's contacting, you know. So I guess I'm not overly surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. But I'll stick with him on that one. Yeah.
Well, what do you reckon there? Big shout out Jack Breslin there. Do you reckon we'd be able to hang on to Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Pepe for the long haul? Could be the best from four. Yeah, that's some absolute crackers. Well,
like Pepe is been splitting a lot of the the fan base at the Arsenal.
I like Pepe.
Was it me and you that were talking about it actually on Friday, saying like stop playing him out wide on the right?
Yeah, but play him on the left. It seems so simple.
He looks pretty good on the left. I'm not going to lie.
I like Pepe, you know, and I have been harsh. I've been critical, of course. I put my hands up, and I've had plenty of times where I've questioned him, but like I like him. I like him as a player, and I just like just something about Pepe. Like he doesn't seem to kick up or anything, you know. But I think that's, I guess, part of why we're only seeing bits and pieces from him, because I don't think he quite has that big player personality. I think he's quite reserved, and we see that in his play and his personality, you know, because he doesn't. For me, he doesn't carry himself as a 72 million pound player, or for what I expect.
He didn't dictate that. He's not
exactly.
He's not a 72 million pound player. He never chose that.
No.
This is something that pisses me off about football. Before we go back, because you can make me rant. It's not what I'm here for. Well, it is.
Hey, that's what I do. That is what I do. That's why I'm here to click the buttons and ask the questions.
You make me fucking. It's not you that is doing it. You know, it's not a beef for you. It's beef for football, and like the fact that if it wasn't for PSG paying the money for Neymar, I think we would be relatively okay. The cost, the players are valued at a certain price, but then it's the value to that club of what the player is. So that's why they have release clauses in a lot of countries other than ours. Like, if you want this player, the value to me, to my club, is this amount of money. You know, so Neymar was 226 million. Is he worth 226 million? Well, it's debatable. It was probably at the time, and at the money level it was and stuff, he's probably worth about 70, 80 million, I would say. But that's why his release clause was so big, nearly 3 times the amount of his value, to deter people from taking your prize assets, you know. And that's the same sort of thing with Pepe. Pepe was probably a 25, 30 million player, but the value that he was to Lille was like, if you want him that badly, you've got to pay 70 odd million.
That's a really fair point. That is, because it's like people talking about Jack Grealish and 80 million. No, I like Jack Grealish. I think I'll be honest, I think he's a dickhead, because I'm still hurting about the whole Irish thing. So do I want to see him in an Arsenal shirt? On a personal level, no, fuck him.
You don't.
But as a player, I think he's a good player. He's not worth 80 million. I can see why maybe he's worth 80 million to Aston Villa for what they want to achieve, because it's a great point what you said about Pepe. To Lille, Pepe was a 72 million player. To Arsenal, he's not a 72 million player. But yeah, this is what you run into. I'll keep jumping into the chats. There's a couple of them coming up there. Where are we? Do you agree the Rebel 6 should be punished? If so, how? What do you reckon?
All 6 clubs, 20-point deduction. Start again. Best of luck.
I hope not, mate, because that puts us in the relegation zone.
well, tough shit. I'm sorry, tough shit. You should not put yourself.
The only thing is, I agree that they need to be punished, but it's almost like you're then punishing the fans, the players, and the manager who had nothing to do with it. So it's a really hard and fine line of, yes, they need to be punished, but it's so hard. How? Like, i.e., fine the club.
There's no point in fining them, but they've got the money. That's the whole point. They've got the money. Fines in sport, I think, are the most pointless thing.
Well, especially when they're in the thousands of pounds.
Yeah, what is the point of fining rich people?
Yeah. I guess with a fine as well, that kind of hurts the fans too, because
that's the issue.
You know, it's the fans' money essentially that goes into the club. So you're fining and you're just taking money off that, you know, the hard-working fan is spending.
Not really, because my ticket price is still going to be the same.
Oh, exactly.
My ticket price my point's going to be the same. My program's still going to be the same price. So it's not actually coming out of my pocket.
But if you think about it, let's say this kind of a fine, right? Because they've obviously got to set an example here. So let's say they said, I don't know, I'll just throw a stupid figure out there. Let's say 100 million each club as a fine. You want to keep your status in the Premier League. There you go. Like, who's going to have to make up for that? You know, we're going to be told, well, we've no money for transfers. We've no money for transfers. We have to raise your ticket prices. we have to add this, we have to charge this now because, sorry, we got this big fine.
These fines we know are going to be like 10 grand.
That's the problem.
Stupid. Be something absolutely minuscule, which was
these fuckers are wiping their asses with 50s, for God's sake.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's Jack says suggestion of point deduction. If it's over 20, we could be relegated. Yeah, as you said, rumours we'd be excluded from Europe. How much excitement does it take away from the Europa League?
Do that. Do you know what? There you go. Exclude every club from Europe next season. Yes, that hurts us. How much do the clubs rely on that to build on for the next season?
Yeah. Well, didn't AC Milan got an exclusion, didn't they?
Ban them for 3 years. Ban them for a year. I think it's pathetic. Honestly, I think it should be a point deduction, and it should be a ban. And it's going to end up hurting Arsenal as well. But it's not just Arsenal that are in this. It's Arsenal. There's Tottenham. There's Man City. There's Man United. There's Liverpool and Chelsea. Fine them all. And Man City would probably try and get away with it and be like, yeah, but we left. Well, you still fucking signed up.
Arsenal would be the only team that would probably slightly get away with it. I know financially we'd be hurt, but at the same time, we're probably going to miss out on Europe anyway for the next couple of seasons while we're trying to build something. So if anything, if you're Arteta, maybe that's exactly what you want because it buys you that bit of time without the expectation because you're kind of going, well, I could finish top 4, but yeah, we're expelled for the next couple of seasons. So I guess maybe with what we're trying to, this is just completely throwing it out there. Just what we're trying to do with the young players, as we're mentioned, it gives them an extra couple of seasons, to grow and develop, and we can slowly add to the team. And
the thing is,
make improvements.
Having these 6 clubs be fined all these amount of points and stuff, putting their European qualification for the following season in jeopardy, it would never be passed. That bill will never be passed because these are the reasons that they were going to join the Super League because these are the marketable teams.
Yeah,
they're not going to enjoy the fact that the Champions League and the Europa League for the next few years will not have Barcelona, Real Madrid, Juve, Inter, AC, Arsenal, Man United. Well, Arsenal are going to be part of it anyway. Man United, Chelsea, City, and it's going to be filled with Everton, Villa, West Ham. Leicester is okay. You're allowed to have Leicester knocking around there.
Yeah.
And then from Spain having Valladolid, Eibar, Getafe. It's not going to be marketable for the.
And it's the same as Ray says there. Like they won't relegate the teams because again, it's nearly the same as you might as well have let them leave if you relegate them because again, the reason why the FA and the other associations are getting pissed off is because you're going to hurt their brand by taking their market, as you said, their marketable teams away. So you're relegating down to the Championship. What happens to your product? Again, it's a watered down kind of crappy product that no one wants to pay for. So it's what they do, I don't know because like you said,
well, they wouldn't do that because they won't be able to relegate all 6. They'd only be able to relegate 3 because only 3 can get relegated. So then that would cause a whole new can of worms. It's like, well, why?
Unless you took all the top 6 that reached the playoffs in the Championship, you just do a straight swap.
Yeah, that has got court of arbitration all over it.
Imagine.
It'd be nice. It'd be funny, and I just want to see an example being made of all 6 clubs. I really want to see that happen. And
to be honest,
it will hurt Arsenal. I sound really anti-Arsenal in this show today, and I really am not. I'm super honest, and I'm just super open about my thoughts and feelings about this whole debacle that's been going on over the last 48 hours. So it's not an anti-Arsenal thing. It's far from.
No, of course.
As in, it's an anti-board level. But that board level, whether we like it or not, are part of Arsenal Football Club. So if that makes me sound anti-Arsenal, then fuck it, I am then.
But sometimes I think, you know what though? Sometimes anyone can sound more anti against their own club because your feelings are so hyped about your club more than others. So you talk about it from a personal point of view, and it always goes back to your club because you feel hurt by your club.
Yeah,
you now want your club to be hurt because they hurt you in return. So naturally, your instinct to go, well, no, do you know what? Fuck Arsenal. Let's hurt them because you're hurting and you want them to sort of have it back. And listen, I'm just hoping, as I said earlier, and I hope this is somehow a blessing in disguise so we can reshape the English game better as well for better owners, more due diligence, even shaping the way the money gets filtered down. There has to be so much more now, and really look into grassroots and how the money is pumped, and just a much wider project. Look at a bigger UK project of really actually sit back and just sort of think, what are we actually doing in this country for our football? What are we actually doing for the kids of today to allow them to be the next Wayne Rooney's, Paul Gascoigne's, Alan? What are we doing to help these? Yeah. And, I always say, charity starts at home. So let's worry about starting our own grassroots. Let's worry about helping our own before we start worrying about European clubs. Do what we need to do in this country. And when you've got everything in-house done, then start worrying about everyone else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to run because I've only got 5% battery, and without my laptop, I'm pretty screwed. Liam, before I go, do you actually play darts?
I do, mate. Yes.
You do.
Spot the dart board. Love it.
Do you play? Do you ever play on WDA webcam darts?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm on it. Yeah.
You do. All right. Add me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, and then send me your username, and we'll get a game on.
No problem at all, man.
So I'm literally I'll play on there all the time, and MAD Sports Network is my channel.
Once you come on, mate, I went straight on the Twitter and I added you up, mate.
Nice one. We cover a multitude of sports. We don't cover the Premier League because we feel like everyone's in the Premier League. So the main leagues that we do in the football side of things are the Championship, the Bundesliga, and the MLS. But there's also an MMA show, which I know Ant has interest in. Oh, it's always backwards. Ant has interest in. And our darts show. We've got our darts show next on Sunday morning at 11 o'clock.
Nice.
I'm an avid player. Our board's over there, just tucked away nicely at the moment. It's on a stand. So yes, but boy, it's just always a pleasure. Oh, it's a pleasure meeting you, first of all, Liam. And it's always an absolute pleasure being on your show. I love being a part of it. Really is. And I'll see you guys very soon.
Cheers.
Thanks everyone for your comments as well. And I'm not anti-Arsenal. I'm just very, very emotional and very upset.
Understandable. No, cheers. Thanks. Pleasure as always, Gav.
See you later, dude. Ta-da.
See you later. Bye-bye. Yeah, that was Gav Mack. Yeah, big shout out Gav Mack. He's been on a couple of times. Top lad, and jack of all trades. Darts channel, MMA channel, rugby.
I'm glad the first bit didn't end it there.
Yeah, Jesus. But I can't remember. I was going to say something there. I can't remember what it was. I think it was. It's just kind of going back to I guess the punishment for the clubs. I'm racking my brain trying to think.
It's such a hard one.
The best way, because I see Ray is saying 20-point deduction for next season. And again, look, I would like something that's gonna punish the owner more so than the club.
You've got to
because by punishing the club, you punish the fans. And
if I'm right thinking, say you suspend the owner, you can't say you can bring in an interim owner to sort of oversee things, so then you've got no money either.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I mean. I'm trying to think here a way to target the owner, because as I said, this for me, it wasn't. I'm trying to be, I guess, kind to the club. This wasn't an Arsenal decision. This was an Arsenal owner decision. Just like this was a Chelsea owner decision, a Man City owner decision, Liverpool, what have you. I don't think it's fair to punish the clubs because it has a knock-on effect and punishes the fans. Kick all the teams out of Europe, that punishes us. Let's say we win the Europa League.
Yeah,
it's not fair to the fans. We finally got Champions League football back, and because our dickhead of an owner wanted to fill his already bulging pockets, we all get punished for the thing that we've all been craving for how many years now. The fans got to win here tonight. And you can't take that away from the fans. So there's got to be something. And I would love nothing more. And again, this is me being a bit selfish, because I want Kroenke gone, and I want him gone yesterday. So I want them to come to some conclusion that they put so much pressure on them that it's not worthwhile owning this club anymore. And if he's not willing to leave his own accord, make it so difficult that he cannot operate here. I know it doesn't make a difference though. You fucking do something and don't give him a visa to get into the country. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't come over anyway. He doesn't give a shit.
No, never.
So I don't know what the option is.
No matter what you do, it hurts us as fans, and I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
You know what? I think, like you say, you can accept it to an extent when your whole club have done something wrong.
Yeah.
I know it's the main man, but you've got to think it's not like, it's just, he has literally made this decision without even consulting the players, the manager, so they couldn't even try to step in and stop him, even if they tried to an extent. So it is a tough one, Oh,
it really is. Like, and this isn't. I know it's brought it back to light again, but like this isn't an issue that's only just come up lately. It's gone quiet for a while, but the whole Kroenke ownership and all, we've all been against it for the longest time. But I think it's just right now we're all kind of rallying together because we all got together to fight against this Super League. So now it's fresh in our memories again. But yeah, like Jack is asking, any ideas how to get rid of Kroenke? Yeah, look, like I understand, look, the protests and all that, like they are needed, and I do think, look, keep this energy. We have to get rid of this guy. This guy needs to go. He probably won't bat an eyelid. We've seen it before. It's true. But look, how do you hurt the guy that's only here to fill his pockets? I mean, you have to empty his pockets. And it's a hard thing to do. But
could you deem him unfit? Could you deem the man unfit? And he physically then has to sell. Is it possible that you can deem him unfit? Look, you're not. I don't know. I mean, again, is it?
See what happens though, right? If let's say, for example, Stan Kroenke, let's just say, look, I've never owned a football club, unfortunately, apart from the closest thing is owning a copy of Football Manager or FIFA. That's the closest I've come to. So I don't know the ins and outs. I don't know. Look, do you need like a license or satisfy some kind of criteria? So maybe the FA can get involved and say, well, you no longer satisfy this criteria. But does he then just pass it to his son Josh, and he sits in the background and he still owns it? Because he could argue, well, Josh isn't the owner. This was my decision, so I'm selling to him, and he's taking over. There's so many different things, and if the rumors were true, that the whole reason Kroenke was here is obviously to make money. There was rumours going around, as I mentioned earlier, that he was looking for this Super League to come in because he wanted to then sell Arsenal because we will be at our highest value. So now he gets the highest bid for it, and then he gets to go. But now that doesn't happen, are we slightly devalued now as a club? And now does he have to hang on to us to try regenerate that money? Everything seems to have a knock-on effect.
Our owner is so quiet that we can never tell what he's thinking. We have absolutely, we're constantly second guessing the man. Like, we have absolutely no idea whether he will sell. I think we obviously have our own personal opinions on that, of course, but the man goes into the shadows. We have no idea what's thinking because we don't know the man. We have no idea. We don't really know who he is or what he is really, Well, we know he's an absolute prick, but apart from that, we have absolutely no idea what's going to happen.
I can't understand. I can't understand what he's in it for. As Ray says there, look, surely he'll turn a profit if he sells now. Sure, you have the Aliko Dangote who was he was offering over 2 billion, and you know what? At this stage, how bad does Stan need that money? I mean, his wife is part of the family that owns Walmart. I think the last I checked, I think she was worth 6 billion alone before you take his money into it. So, do you know what I mean? Like I said, you're playing with people's emotions now. He obviously doesn't have this understanding. Like we spoke about this earlier, how this is a part of our lives and our makeup every day and that. And how badly do you need to keep this club? Sell it for the 2 million, move on, invest in something else. I mean, go elsewhere. We can stop spending money. And as I said, look, I stopped spending money on Arsenal a long time ago. I stopped buying stuff from the Arsenal website and stuff. And as I said, this came from my jersey dealer. This didn't go in Stan Kroenke's pocket. And
That's how it should be.
Right, I'll be honest, yeah. Obviously, part of me is like, I'm not spending 80 quid on this when I can get it for 20 elsewhere, yeah. Why would I do that? I mean, I work and I have to pay my bills and other things. So maybe we can get it cheaper elsewhere, but also at the same time, definitely part of it, 100% part of it was I said, I'm not filling this guy's pocket anymore. And I said that a long, long time ago. And hand on heart, if I knew that, you know, my investments in the club were going to be used for the greater good, I would have absolutely no issue. I would spend the money, absolutely no problem. And yeah, it'd be tough to do. It's a struggle, you know. I guess we're on the middle of a pandemic, and every penny counts. But if I knew I was getting a return for my investment, I wouldn't think twice. But I know Stan Kroenke's not giving me a return for my investment, so Stan Kroenke's not getting my money. I'm sorry. You know, again, this is where you're fighting head and heart, because as soon as the tickets are available and you go to the stadium again, it's impossible. It's impossible not to go.
And the only way the way I can liken it, it's almost like, think of, you know, a relationship, for instance. You know, we've all had them, you know, back in the day where there's something, you know, there's a girl you think it's just not working out, and you need to love. But you can tell your mates, if they were in the same position, no, you've got to get rid. Because you're in that position, you go, no, but I can't. Yeah. And it's like Arsenal, like, I know what I need to do. I know that I need to say, no, I'm not spending your money. No, I'm not going to come to your ground. No. But when it comes to you, go, no, actually, but
yeah.
how can I? And that's the problem, you know. I've got my season ticket. I'm literally stuck because I know the moment I hand that back, I'm then not getting another one for like 15 years. And I can't afford that because the love for my club is too much. And then if Stan Kroenke says next season, I'm like, are you kidding me? And then I've got 14 seasons of having Arsenal that's Stan Kroenke, but no season. Yeah. I can't take that risk. And that is the issue with it, that people understand how important these tickets are. And also talking on that, there was a point I raised earlier on in the show I did with our channel, and I want to raise it here, that again, when I talk about the issues within English football. Now, as you might be aware, Anthony, that at the moment in the Premier League, any away game in the Premier League, it's capped at £30.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. Obviously, if we're at home to Liverpool, obviously we charge £70. That's what we do. But any away game in the Premier League, no matter who it's against, the last game I went to was Arsenal-Chelsea. You know, when Martinelli scored that goal? Yeah. It was £30. That's what the cap is. It's 30 quid. That's it. But my mate at work goes Millwall. He went to Millwall away game and paid £35. Now explain that one to me. So I'm going to watch Arsenal-Chelsea for 30. He wants Millwall away for 35. So if it's a cap in the Premier League, and again, it's about looking after the elite, looking after the best, and not worrying about the rest. So no, if ours is 30, then make theirs 20. Make League One 15 quid. Even match League 2 15 quid. You have to be, again, you've got a pyramid, so you have to use it monetary values. How can I be paying less in the Premier League than you are in the Championship for an away team?
Yeah, exactly.
And again, the reason for it being so cheap is because they incorporate that you've got your travel costs, you've got your potential overnight stay in hotels. So £30. I mean, for me, last season, I think I've done Watford away, Chelsea away. I know I did one more and I can't remember it. But again, I knew I did 2 London clubs because I thought it's a 10 quid travel card, 30 quid ticket, 40 quid, there's me travel and me ticket done. And then obviously, me beer money on top of that. But I thought,
exactly, yeah. But look,
you've got to bring that down. Why just cap it for Premier League? Why are we so worried about looking after these other clubs? And the fans from these clubs, like, do they not care? Do they not matter? Sorry, you know. And
exactly. Well, it's like we said earlier, going back to Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich came over to the Emirates and absolutely spanked us. You know, they beat us over 2 legs, 8-2. And the Bayern fans protested it at the Emirates about the ticket prices, which were still cheaper. And your argument is like, you're seeing an elite level team, world-class players who absolutely battered us, and we're paying more money to watch this, and you're the ones giving out. And I said this earlier, even on Twitter. I visited Amsterdam about a year ago, and while I was there, I picked up a match ticket to go see Ajax play. And Ajax, like Dutch league champions, playing Champions League football. Some good players in that team. €14 for a ticket. You know, it cost me €14 to go see the league champions. I know they hadn't even been crowned league champions at this stage. They were top of the league, so it's not like you can even say, it was a dead rubber game. You know, they were still fighting for something. So it cost me €14 for that ticket. I got nice Ryanair flights over there, £9.99 each way. So it's costing me about 35 quid altogether for
was it
a
a league
ticket
game as well?
It was a league, an Eredivisie game, yeah. So for that match day, for that away day ticket, I got flights and a match day ticket in the Johan Cruyff Arena, and like that. I spent, I think it was 3 days. I think it was. There was a lot of beer had, so it could have been 3, could have been 4. I can't remember. But amongst other things, but yeah. So the whole trip though cost me, I don't know, maybe 300-400 quid. I didn't spend an awful lot, but like you buy again. This is another thing I said, and I didn't quite mean it in the way I think some people took it up. But look, obviously, I live in Ireland. Whether we play in this Super League. And we're playing in the new camp this week. We're playing the Bernabeu next week. We're playing wherever, Atletico's stadium, Milan, whatever. Either way, if we're playing at home, the Emirates, for me, I've still got to jump on a plane, and I've still got to fly over. So it was all the same for me to fly to Milan as it is to London. And to be honest, it's probably cheaper. It's probably cheaper for me to fly to these European destinations. You can get these Ryanair flights, but the only thing is, had they come up with this league, you guarantee those flights would have shot up.
Because if they're saying less games, how much is that match ticket then worth? I'm looking. They're talking like 150 a pop because obviously they're so far and few between. And also, fun enough, talking of European football, there are some teams that are a bit much. I went to Berlin about 4 years ago now for a stag do. I organised it, so obviously thought why not go to Berlin. And we literally arrived on the Thursday morning, and that night, Hertha Berlin were playing in a Europa League qualifier against Brøndby. Now, again, Brøndby were a big club when we were growing up, and oh, this is brilliant. And it was €17, which wasn't that bad, And then 2 days later on the Saturday, we sort of woke up and obviously we did wake up Friday, but that was a complete irrelevant day. We woke up Saturday again, and then just having a few beers, went into town, saw a couple of randoms with some random shirt on. We said, team playing today? They're like, Union Berlin. We're like, okay.
Oh, Union, yeah.
Oh, follow us. So we turn up. Union Berlin were playing Utrecht from Holland.
Yeah.
And I think Utrecht won 3-0 in the end. And it was a pre-season friendly. €30.
30, yeah.
I was like, what? But we went. Obviously, we went to the ground. We played obviously on the at the gate. It's like £30, but you're there anyway. You're going to do it. But I thought, wow,
yeah, you would just for the novelty of it. But that's actually, talking about the novelty of it, the last Arsenal game I attended, Unai Emery had just taken over and Arsenal were due to play in Stockholm. I think it was it Sevilla or somebody we were supposed to play, or Atletico Madrid, I think it was. And it didn't go ahead. And we ended up playing Chelsea in the Aviva in Dublin. So I went to that.
Oh, shit.
Because, look, it is one of those things, a pre-season friendly. How often does your team come to your hometown? And of course, I was like, right, well, I'm going to this. My dad took me to my first Arsenal game. I was like, you know what, this is gonna be cool. I'm gonna bring my dad to a game.
Nice.
So they're 60 quid a go though, and like that.
Even for a friendly.
For a pre-season friendly, €60 a go. Yeah.
Whose pocket is that going into?
Exactly. That's it. And
it's just taken over. It's not even. This is this issue. Like I said, at the beginning, right at the beginning of the stream. This doesn't just stem from Chelsea. Obviously, have to take that with Abramovich, but it's been an issue for a long time, and that's the problem. It's almost like there's the level. Right, we'll test the water, go in there. Oh, no one said anything for 5-10 years, and it's just slowly but surely just kept.
Yeah,
it's just gone
slowly add on. Yeah,
we've just never seen before, and sometimes it's hard to pull it back. And I made a point earlier as well that footballers. Listen, everyone knows that the money they earn is just crazy. Now, if someone said to me, a footballer, they earn say 300 grand a year. Now, what's the problem with that? 300 grand a year. It's still a lot of money. And on top of that, they can get their own endorsements from, Nike, Adidas, whatever it is, whatever. But that means that player, so when they sign that pro contract, the max they can get a week is something like 6-7 grand a week, right? Mm-hmm. Why not? What is wrong with that? Also, as well, in return, you start seeing more loyalty. So if you sign a contract at 6-7 grand a week, and that's the max you can earn a week, you're not moving for money. You see more loyalty football because, well, I'm happy here. I'm going to get the same money there. I don't really feel I'm going to be any better off, so I might as well stay here. And it's a way then you get loyalty back in the game. You get integrity.
Exactly.
And
they appreciate where they are. Yeah.
And again, I go back to the 3 words of Arsenal. You get tradition, you get history, you get class, because you get classy players because they want to then represent this club for a long time. You get the history because you build on it, and you get tradition because it's what your club's then about. But it's just gone, you know. Obviously, look,
exactly.
the money in football has long eclipsed anything you could imagine, so you can't put it back to that level again. But you know, it wouldn't be great to be able to be on everyone's on a level playing field, and you know,
definitely. It's like no, look, I'm not a big rugby fan or anything, but growing up, a friend of mine went on to play for Leinster, and he got a couple of caps for Ireland.
Nice.
And he's still playing now. He's playing for Ulster now. But I remember his first pro contract. I think he was about 18, 19, and he was playing, you know, in the senior team next to Brian O'Driscoll. He was getting 40 grand a year. That was his contract, and he was capped for Ireland. He was getting 40 grand a year. Now he was getting endorsements, and I know he got a nice sponsorship deal. He got sorted out with a Jeep and all that. So he was getting his 40k a year,
and
which, you know what, if I was making 40 grand a year, I'm more than happy with that. I'm happy with that. You know, I can survive. I can pay my bills. You're comfortable, and again, look, your car and that is sorted and whatever else. But you know, that you could see, you know, he appreciated that, and you know, he was doing it for the love and the passion of the game. It wasn't about the money. You know, the way he looked at it, it was, if you compared it, he said, look, if I'm in a regular job, this is decent money. You know, I'm happy. You know, I can support my family. I'm happy, and it allows me enough of a financial security that I can commit to playing the sport that I love playing, and my bills are paid, and that's enough, you know, because at the end of the day, I can survive and pay the bills and play the game I love to play. And you can see the appreciation level is so much different. Like you've the young lads, like look at the Balogun saga. That guy apparently was looking for 40k a week. You know, like I said, my friend was capped for Ireland, and now he's making 40 grand a year on his first pro contract. This lad, Balogun's it's probably his second pro contract now. Would it be? I think he.
Oh yeah, probably.
I think he was on. Yeah, he was obviously on pro terms before. So for the second pro contract, having played 2 first team games at the time, and he was looking for reportedly 40 grand a week. He had to settle for, I think, about 20 odd, which is, you know, it's pretty nice money.
That is still just crazy. Like,
it's too much.
I just hope that with everything that's happened, and you know, I say the fans sort of showing unity together, and as the football family, we can come together, that we do get some integrity back in our sport, and really, but we need to hold them all to ransom. You know, Sky, you know, as I said, you know, paying 15 quid for games during the pandemic was an absolute disgrace.
That's
and even not just that, you know, I've got friends that, again, I go back to Cheltenham because they're my local team, and I've got a lot of mates that support them. And at the moment, because obviously people can't go to the games, they're charging 10 quid a game to watch it online. Like, come on, man! Like, look after the fans.
They give all this Amazon stuff now.
Go to the game. Going to the game trumps everything, because it's the atmosphere. It's not just going to the game; it's the camaraderie. As you said, it's the few beers for the game. If you're watching at home on the sofa, and especially the fact you can't have mates around because of COVID, and yet you want to all pay a tenner each, like, come on, like,
no, it doesn't work. It's like going down the route of everything being on box office now. Like, soon it'll be like Champions League final. You have to pay $25.99 to get it on box office. Like, that's
basically right now. Anyway, you've got Sky for your Premier League, then you've got BT Sport for Europa League and Champions League. Then you've got Amazon Prime for some other games now. And I think, when's this going to stop? Like, you want to talk about, you know, discussing what they're doing. Well, I'll tell you what then, lead by example now, and go and lower your Sky package for sports. Go and do something. Go and show the people that you do actually care about them. It's not just fucking that, because you're pissed off that you're worried that the money's coming away from you and going elsewhere. Let's be honest about it. You were shitting yourself that the money was going to come away from you and go elsewhere. So let's not try and, you know, kid ourselves here. You were doing it for your own. You were worried about your own pocket. But if you really truly care about the fans, and I'm completely wrong, then show us. Show us what we really mean to you. Show us that we are the reason these clubs are in existence. We're the ones keeping these clubs going. Show us what we mean. And listen, we'll soon find out in the next couple of weeks what's really going on and whether they truly believe that we do matter or not.
Yeah, that's it, 100%. And you know what? I think that's probably a good sentiment to end it on. It's like 2 hours, 20 minutes in now at this stage. So, no, Liam, I want to give you a big shout out. Like, thanks for sticking with me to the end.
No, mate, it's good. I mean, I think 3.5 hours worth I've done for that.
Yeah, just before we do go, yeah, Ray, have a look at the open letter. We did earlier on. We did throw that up on the screen, so I had a little brief read of it. But like, you know, part of why I know it is late. It's actually after 1 a.m. here at the moment, and like that we're 2 hours, just under 2.5 hours in. But part of why I'm kind of wrapping up is I have Sky Sports on here in the background, and I've been so kind of glued to this as well, to this conversation and hearing like yourself and Gav and Dan and that. It's been really cool. But I'm kind of interested now to kind of sit down just before I put the head down for bed. Interested just to kind of catch up a little bit, because there's been so much in the last 2 days. God knows what we've missed in the last 2 hours. Why we've been sat here, God knows what, and
still going on.
And I'm sure we haven't heard the end. There's probably going to be plenty more. We had originally planned on doing this tomorrow, but hey, look, I might be giving you a shout to say, hey, look, there's more. Let's get back on.
Let's go.
That's it. But yeah, look, before we go, Liam, give yourself a shout out there and plug the channel, yourself and the lads.
Yeah, so as Anthony said, I'm on Twitter. My personal handle is at @LKennedy89, but also I'm part of a trio, Anything Arsenal, me, myself, Brian and Andy. And yeah, we try and do, like yourself, Anthony, up to current sort of states of affairs of Arsenal and previews and match reviews and stuff like that. So yeah, you'll catch me on the channel, but also catch me talking every now and again. If I've got my own view different to what the other lads might think, I'll stick it on my own personal Twitter, not to upset a few people maybe.
Hey, but that's the way to do it. Have a bit of variety as well. It gets boring when everybody agrees the whole time.
Yeah,
it's
nice,
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, as I said, big shout out to you, Liam. So I appreciate your time, and a shout out to Dan and Gav Mack as well. So yeah, fair play to the lads. And look, plenty of new faces in the chat here tonight. Plenty of new faces. So massive thanks to everyone that came on here. And look, as always, plenty of regular, familiar faces. So I really do appreciate you coming in and supporting. And look, for anyone that's new, if you haven't, please do like and subscribe. And as Liam said, I tried to nod on there. As Liam said, yeah, always you never know which way to point it. Yeah, so no, there we go. Yeah, so yeah, subscribe to Anything Arsenal as well, and yeah, like that MAD Sports, Gav Mack, and Sideline Talk podcast for Dan, and yeah, Arsenal Fan Circle as well. We Arsenal Fan Circle family. Ray still in the chat there. So yeah, look, it's been emotional. God knows what tomorrow's going to bring. But as Ray says, what will tomorrow bring? Yeah, that's what we're wondering, Ray. I think, yeah, we need to, go to bed. And yeah, let's see what we're going to wake up to tomorrow. So look, as always, lads, thanks for sticking with us. And come on, you Gunners.